On day 1, I spawned into the Dover Mountains as a courageous firefighter. Well, a baby firefighter anyway. It looks like I've got a long way to go when it comes to developing all my firefighting skills, but I didn't have time to practice at a leisurely pace. A huge hulking fire ogre jumped down right in front of me.
There you are, little firefighter. I thought I burned every last one of you, but it seems I missed one. I've got to be losing my touch.
Wait, who are you?
Oh, silly me. I haven't introduced myself. I'm Larson the Fire Ogre. I'm called Larson because it rhymes with arson. And I just want to watch the whole world burn.
You'll never burn the world, Larson. Not if I have anything to say about it.
But you won't have anything to say, kid, because you're just gonna be a sad little pile of ash.
Before I could think up a witty comeback, Larson blasted me with a fireball. Lucky for me, my fire-resistant coat deflected the worst of it, but it wouldn't do that twice. I just had to run. I need to figure out a way to stop that diabolical fire ogre, or the whole overworld is gonna burn. On day 2, I continued fleeing through the Dover Mountains. I could smell smoke in the air, and that certainly didn't make me feel good. 10 hearts. Uh-oh, that's not much. I need to stay safe, or I'll never be strong enough to stop Larson from setting everything on fire. But I needed to get some food first, because my hunger bar was dangerously low. Lucky for me, I found some apples lying around on the ground, and decided to eat them as a quick snack.
Ha! You walked right into my trap!
A huge red manticore leaped out of the trees, ready to battle!
I'm a friend of Larson's. He sends his regards. You know, kid, you've got no future. Either I get you or Larson will. Either way, your fate is in our hands.
The red manticore didn't seem like a nice guy, so instead of sitting around for his lecture, I turned and ran for the hills, or rather the mountains. I guess running is a valuable exercise for a firefighter. But it didn't take long for me to tire myself out and collapse on the ground. It was totally humiliating. But I felt a sudden burst of energy when I saw a huge blue ogre looming over me. Oh no!
Please, be not afraid. I assume you probably met my brother Larson. He's a bad guy, and I'm not like him. I'm Brian the Blue Ogre, and as my blue color suggests, I'm pretty chill.
I got back up, feeling immense relief. Phew, it's really nice to meet someone else who doesn't want the world to burn down.
And I'm not the only one either. Welcome to the Resistance, little firefighter. Come with me.
On day 3, Brian the Blue Ogre led me across the Dover Mountains, soon reaching a large and roaring fire.
This is a controlled fire, by the way, so there's no need to fight it.
Fair enough, that makes sense. I walked ahead to the fire and saw an old calico kitty warming herself.
Ah, a firefighter. It's been a long time.
What do you mean? You met a firefighter once before?
Oh, yes. One of them saved my life years ago. I was stuck in a tree, and it was a firefighter who came and saved me. I owed my life to him after that, and took care of him in his twilight years. He passed down his precious fireman's axe to me, and I swore I'd one day give it to another firefighter to carry on his legacy of doing brave and heroic acts.
I'd be honored to accept his fire axe.
Then take it, and a stone pickaxe, and go make yourself a new fire station. You alone will be able to put out the fires and keep this land safe.
He gave me the stone pickaxe and the stone fire axe. Inspired by the tale that Calico Kitty had told me, I took them and left to go back to Brian the Blue Ogre to begin my quest in earnest. From day 4 to day 5, Brian the Blue Ogre and I went out and discovered the perfect place in the Dover Mountains to set up a base.
What kind of base will we create, Zozo?
A fire station, of course. We need to get out there and put out fires anytime we can, at any hour of the day or night.
That sounds exhausting and extremely stressful, but it also sounds like the right thing to do.
I started cutting down trees with my axe to collect wood and mining up stone. With all that, I started building the most basic parts of my new fire station base, the barracks, where Brian and I could sleep at night. When the base was done, Brian came over to me with a gift.
Zozo, I got you another valuable item for your firefighting quests. It's a bucket. You can fill it up with water and use it to put out fires.
That's perfect, Brian. It seems like I've got a really cool firefighting loadout. But fires wouldn't be the only threat that I'd need to face. A gaggle of nasty rats came skittering out of the forest, and I needed to put my fire axe to lethal use in order to defeat them. Wow, I'm pretty good with this thing. Wait, what's happening to me? The XP I'd gained from defeating the hell rats was enough for me me to level up. I got bigger, stronger, had 30 hearts, and a new power, a fire hose. I'm like a real firefighter now. From day 6 to day 8, I smelled some smoke in the ebony woods and ran there immediately to put out some fires that were raging amongst the trees. I'm putting out fires everywhere. I hope I can continue to get to places on time, or there could be a real disaster. Speaking of disasters, I soon came face to face with a terrifying gang of undead scorpions. Could they be the ones who caused the fire? I better ask them a few questions. Get it? Axe? Yeah, nobody has a sense of humor around here. With the fireman's axe I'd inherited from the firefighter of old, I took out each one of the undead scorpions. The axe wasn't as fast as a sword, but what it didn't have in speed, it made up for in power. Soon enough, I defeated the entire gang of undead scorpions. With the area cleared, a new presence stepped out from behind the trees. It was a darkness ostrich.
That was impressive work, stranger. You seem like you can handle yourself in another.
I'm a firefighter, not just a fighter. Why would I fight your fights for you?
Because I'm fast. If you and I work together, I can be your advanced warning system for fires across the overworld.
Well, that's actually a really good point. Lead the way. From day 9 to day 10, I followed the mysterious darkness ostrich to a clearing in the ebony woods, where I saw an even more ominous ostrich in the distance.
That's my brother, the hell ostrich. He was once a good ostrich, but he gave in to the temptation of evil. Now he's barely a shadow of what he used to be. He needs to be destroyed for his own good.
Wow, there are a lot of warring brothers out there. Guess I'll do what I can. I ran in and tried to battle the hell ostrich with my fire hose and axe, but it was so incredibly fast, it unleashed a devastating attack on me before I even got a chance to take it down.
I have demon energies, firefighter. There's no way you're ever gonna defeat me like that.
And as much as I hated to admit it, he was right. I ran back to the darkness ostrich, feeling ashamed. Looks like I still have some training to do before I can mercy defeat your evil brother, Darkness Ostrich. Why don't you come crash at my base in the meantime?
It can't hurt. It does get lonely out here in the ebony forest, after all.
From day 11 to day 12, I returned to the fire station and constructed some lodging for the Darkness Ostrich. I made sure to make the ostrich's room have a dark-like vibe to suit its nature. I went to tell the Darkness Ostrich that I'd finished his lodging and was surprised to see that the station had expanded while I hadn't been watching.
Would you like to see the new storage room?
I'd better make sure all of this is up to the latest fire code and guidelines, so lead the way. The Darkness Ostrich took me inside the storage room, which is an ideal place for storing all our firefighting equipment. He also showed me a furnace, which was in perfect condition for heating the station without being a fire hazard in itself. After looking over both of these additions to the base and approving of them, I listened to the Darkness Ostrich tell me a bit more about the evil that we'd be fighting, aside from just fire.
My brother, the Hell Ostrich, turned evil right around the same time as Larson, the Fire Ogre, started the rampage. I don't know if it's related, but brothers shouldn't have to fight brothers. That's why I wanted you to deal with him.
Get that, I really do. But I'm a firefighter, not a brother fighter. I can't tell you why family doesn't always get along. Afterwards, I decided to make myself a stronger fire axe for the battles ahead, so I went to gather some iron ore from the mines. I then smelted the iron and made an iron axe and iron pickaxe as well to make it easier to dig for the materials. The next step in making the fire station into a sustainable base was building a farm for sheep and herding some sheep into it. You never know when you need some wool, even if it can be highly flammable. From day 13 to day 15, Brian the Blue Ogre came into the fire station to offer me some of his chill wisdom.
You've built this fire station into something quite admirable. The battle against my brother Larson the Fire Ogre will be arduous and ongoing, so remember to maintain your cool.
The Fire Ogre's blazes are some of the most dangerous I've ever seen. How do you suggest I train to withstand those scorching attacks?
You should focus on your health and durability. Surviving the flames is the first step to overcoming them. Go to the Ebony Woods and find your strength.
Following Brian's advice, I went on a walk through the Ebony Woods, admiring the gorgeous view of the trees. That view was interrupted by the sudden appearance of a red manticore, no doubt sent here by Larson the Fire Ogre to start some kind of brush fire.
Nice trees! It would be a shame if someone burned them down.
Stop right there, red manticore. I'm going to prevent this forest fire before it happens. I drew my iron fire axe and struck the manticore with a heavy blow. The manticore bit back, but I stood my ground and continued to hack away until the manticore was defeated. My victory was rewarded with a rare health potion drop. I drank it down and felt my strength rising to a new level. I now had an incredible total of 60 hearts, and I could smash through solid walls. From day 16 to day 19, I found myself in another beautiful forest, the flower forest. The great outdoors sure was grand, but these biomes were the most at risk when it came to fire. I stayed vigilant in case Larson the Fire Ogre or another one of his evil red Manicore minions was planning to cause trouble. Further into the woods, I happened to find a book of information lying on the ground. Flammable objects shouldn't be left on the ground, so I picked up the book and gave it a read. There are many paths to becoming strong in the overworld, and one of them is the path of demons. By embracing the evil instincts in their heart, a creature can learn to destroy any obstacle or enemy. But because balance is a natural part of the overworld, those who choose the path of demons are opposed by the rescue warriors, who follow a path of protection. I pondered the words on the page for a while, thinking of Larson the Fire Ogre as well as the Hell Ostrich. Both of them seem to have chosen this path of demons.
We follow the path of demons too, and we'll use our evil energy to destroy you, Fireman!
I looked from the book to see I was surrounded by red manticores. They had ambushed me, but I wouldn't let them win so easily. I wasted no time drawing my iron axe and chopping them down. From day 20 to day 22, I gathered more iron from the mines and smelted the iron ore into iron ingots. I then used the ingots to craft my first piece of iron armor, an iron chestplate. With this extra bit of protection, I felt strong enough to face the Hell Ostrich of the Black Forest. I'll settle this family score for the Darkness Ostrich. That should put me on the right path. I arrived at the part of the Black Forest where the Hell Ostrich resided and found him immediately.
Ready to be destroyed again? I'll happily walk all over you until you learn your lesson.
The only one who is learning a lesson today is you, Hell Ostrich. You followed the path of demons, but it ends here. I used my iron axe to carve out my own path to victory. The Hell Ostrich's attack speed was much greater than my own, but thanks to my armor and higher health, I endured his attacks and used my slow but powerful hits to take him out. The Hell Ostrich burst into flames upon being defeated. I saw a flashback in the raging fire. The flashback showed the Hell Ostrich and several others gathered in a place with magical mushrooms. The most intimidating among them was Larson the Fire Ogre.
Today begins our pact to follow the path of demons. We will gain the powers of destruction and burn the overworld together.
To my great surprise, I saw my twin brother amongst the gathered creatures. What was he doing there? From day 23 to day 26, I went back to the fire station and told the Darkness Ostrich about my successful battle with the Hell Ostrich. It was a tough fight, but I did what needed to be done.
You are truly one firefighter, Zozo. There needs to be someone like you to fight the evil of this world.
I know that now more than ever. There's more creatures who are following the path of demons, including Larson, and none of them will rest until the overworld is burned to the ground. With my new determination to fight fire soaring to new heights, I descended into the mines and dug up some more iron ore. To complement my iron chestplate, I used my next few ingots to make an iron helmet and iron boots. It's not exactly fireproof, but it will keep me from getting hurt by most conventional attacks. Back above ground, I reunited with the Darkness Ostrich, who had just finished building a massive wall around the whole fire station. This is a really nice wall. I'm surprised you completed it so quickly. I wasn't gone that long.
I'm not just speedy when I'm running. I build things fast too.
From day 27 to day 31, I was walking through the flower forest to make sure that it was still safe from the hostile mobs. Instead of any red manticores, I saw a white lioness. That must be a good sign.
You're the firefighter that protected our forest from the red manticores. Thank you for your service.
You're welcome, White Lioness. A firefighter must always be ready to protect the overworld.
If you don't mind, I'd like to spend some time at your fire station, just to make sure we're all in good hands.
Sure, the fire station is open to the public, so you can stay as long as you want. I took the White Lioness back to the base and built a room for her to stay. Our fire station family was growing larger, so I decided to spruce up the base a bit. From the sheep farm, I was able to gather a bunch of sheep's wool, which I used to create decorative banners to put around the base. Remember to keep these banners away from open flames, everyone! Afterwards, I ran into Brian the Blue Ogre, who despite his usual chill attitude, seemed concerned.
There's a fire in the nearby mountains. It's probably Larson. Now is the time to act.
If even you are worried, that's enough reason for me! From day 32 to day 35, the blue ogre and I hurried to the source of the fire and saw that the area was swarmed with red manticores. This is bad! Those red manticores must have set everything ablaze!
Larson is definitely behind this, but I don't see him.
I fought my way through the flames with my iron axe and saw the calico kitty from before, the same one who gave me my original fire axe. Kitty!
Zozo, help me! Please, rescue me!
Don't worry, Kitty, I'm coming! Just then, another blast of flame lit up the area. The calico kitty was burnt to a crisp before I could do anything about the fire. No, I was too late!
You can't stop the fire, Zozo. It's always been burning since the overworld's been turning.
Enraged by the red manticore's taunts, I charged forward and jumped through each and every one of them. Then, I put out the fires to prevent any further destruction to the environment. From day 36 to day 39, I went on patrol in the Ebony Woods to root out the other minions of Larson the Fire Ogre. Near a pond in the woods, I met a humble old turtle who gave me a friendly greeting and offered me a quest.
Hello there, Firefighter! I heard that the overworld has had a lot of trouble with the ones following the path of demons. I know of a giant in these woods that is also using demon energy for evil, so I thought I'd report it.
Thanks, Turtle. I'll get right on that so that the woods can be safe for you again. I wandered deeper into the woods until I came upon a giant. At his size, it was pretty hard to miss. At a glance, I could tell that he had the same wicked vibes as the Hell Ostrich, so I approached with my weapon drawn. The giant tried to attack me, but I defended myself and hacked him down to size. The bigger they come, the harder they fall. I returned to the turtle and told him the good news. As a reward, the turtle gave me some information regarding the ones following the path of demons.
I saw this once before at an earlier point in my long life. Creatures who wanted to cause destruction gathered together and formed a pact. Their demon powers grow stronger the more that they destroy, especially if they destroy good guy rescue warriors like yourself. Just be careful, okay?
From day 40 to day 43, I returned to the fire station to find that the inside of the rooms had bookshelves and couches. This is a good place for books because we can keep them safe. But who added these to the base?
It was me, Brian. I'm inviting another blue ogre friend to the fire station so that we can chill out. He's not related to me and Larson, though.
Wow, I had questions, but I guess you answered them already. And if you want to chill with a friend here at the base, that's chill with me.
Thanks, Zozo. You're a cool friend.
Sometime later, the other blue ogre that Brian was friends with arrived at the fire station. Please, make yourself at home. I left the blue ogres to their hangout and went to repair my axe. When I was finished with fixing up my axe, I was approached by the White Lioness who had a new mission for me.
Zozo, I've learned that an evil ghast is in the flower forest. I can't go home until it is defeated.
Was this ghast your sibling or friend by any chance?
No, just a regular evil ghast. Why do you ask?
I was just curious. It seems like everyone has an evil twin these days. From day 44 to day 49, I went to the flower forest for the quest of the White Lioness and found that some forest fires had been started. I ran straight into the flames, ready to put them all out. Thank goodness I got here in time before it spreads even more.
You said it, Zozo. Now I can see you burned up at last. Then nothing will stop our destruction.
Larson, you won't be getting away with this. I'll put this fire out and put you down.
Well, I'd personally enjoy fire blasting you until only ash remains. Somebody else from the path of demons wants to take you on.
Someone else? Who could it be?
You'll find out.
Larson disappeared into the flames and escaped. I tried to follow him, but a terrifying husk blocked my path. There was something kind of familiar about this husk, and it freaked me out.
Hello, brother. It is me. You left me behind.
Wait, no, you're my brother. Why are you working with Larson?
Because I've followed the path of demons, and now I'll destroy you and grow even more powerful.
This is horrible, but I have no choice. I have to fight you, brother. The husk of my brother attacked me, and I countered with my iron fire axe. The fight was difficult, not just because of the damage I was taking, but because my feelings were being hurt too. From day 50 to day 53, I fought on against the husk that was once my brother. My fire axe continued to strike true, but he had health to spare. I, on the other hand, was losing a lot of hearts.
Why are you holding back? We are enemies now, brother. I must destroy you, and you must try to stop me.
I don't want to. And maybe that's why I've been holding back this whole time.
Is this all your great life of becoming a firefighter amounted to? My evil will undo all the good you've done in the world.
If that's how you feel, then I refuse to hold back any longer. Take this! I went all out against the husk and felled my former brother with a few well-placed axe strikes. He disappeared, leaving behind a bunch of diamonds. I remember these diamonds from back when my twin brother and I were kids. I found them inside of an abandoned mine. I told him to keep them when I left to become a firefighter. He held on to them all this time. It's so tragic. I'm sorry, brother, but I will avenge you by defeating Larson, the Fire Ogre! From day 54 to day 57, I found the gas that the White Lioness had mentioned. It screamed at me and attacked at range. I dodged through the blast and approached with my axe. With no hesitation, I cut the gas down in one hit. I returned to base and told the White Lioness that the Flower Forest would now be safe to return to.
Thank you, Zozo.
You're welcome.
Is something bothering you?
I had to defeat my twin brother because he followed the path of demons and became an evil husk. It's left me really conflicted about how much of a hero I really am. I couldn't save him from turning evil.
That's rough, buddy. But you're not the one to blame. It was Larson, the Fire Ogre, who gathered all those creatures, promising them the powers of destruction. There will always be creatures out there who want to watch the overworld burn. But as long as you protect and rescue those in danger, you're definitely a hero.
That really helped. Thank you, White Lioness. I will keep fighting fires and saving people for as long as I am able. From day 58 to day 62, I went to the mine and discovered a vein of diamonds, which I could use to craft better gear. I traded out my iron pickaxe for a diamond pickaxe right away, but I took some extra time when I was crafting my new fire axe. I used the diamonds that my twin brother had to create a powerful diamond fire axe in his honor. I'll never forget you, brother, even if you did turn into a husk and try to defeat me. I returned from the mines to find that a brand new living area had been built, including a contained fireplace. Brian, the blue ogre, was hanging out near the bookshelves and welcomed me the moment I stepped in. Brian, did you do all of this?
Yep. It took me a while to find the setup for the fireplace that was most safe, but I think you'll be happy with it.
Of course I am, buddy. Thank you! From day 63 to day 66, the Darkness Ostrich came to find me in the mines with some crucial information.
Hey, Zozo! I've run around all across the overworld, and I think I discovered the fungal patch where the creatures following the path of demons made their pact.
Great work, Darkness Ostrich. I knew I could count on you to find out where Larson the Fire Ogre is hiding away.
Well, I don't know for sure that he's there, because I haven't seen him. But if you go there, it's possible that you'll see him.
I decided to give it a shot, heading straight to the mysterious biome known as the Fungal Patch. It certainly resembled the place that I saw in my vision, but like the Darkness Ostrich said, there was no sign of Larson. I heard some movement among the mushrooms and braced for a fight. The source of the sound turned out to be a leatherworker who wasn't in the mood for a fight at all.
I'm not with those Path of Demon guys. I'm just trying to make some supernatural leather to work with.
I guess that does make sense. You are a leatherworker. How can I help? This place is dangerous on your own.
Yeah, I'll show you, Firefighter. Follow me.
From day 67 to day 70, I went with the leatherworker to another part of the fungal patch. I soon spotted an Enderman walking around the fungal patch looking for innocent lives to destroy.
That thing has the leather I need, but too afraid to get close. It has the powers of the Path of Demons.
I'll handle it. If that thing made the pact with Larson the Fire Ogre, it's got to be stopped. I attacked the Enderman by surprise and scored the first hit. It attacked me and did a bit of damage, but my diamond fire axe struck true the next time. Even though it had longer limbs, I stayed in close range and hammered away until the towering being fell. It also dropped the leather that the leatherworker was looking for.
Thank you for your help, Zozo. You're the best.
From day 71 to day 74, I spotted some fire in another part of the fungal patch and ventured towards it. That fire would most likely lead me to Larson the Fire Ogre. He was still very strong, but I was ready to try and fight him. Wish me luck, and don't forget to search ZOZO in order to find more of the Zozo videos you love. I reached the spot where the fungal patch fire was burning and saw Larson the Fire Ogre adding to it with more fire blasts. Your path of demons isn't going any further, Larson. I'm fighting your fire with firefighting.
What do you hope to accomplish, Zozo? I've got flames you can't hope to tame.
He hit me with a fireball that scorched me and did a ton of damage. damage. I struck back with my diamond fire axe. My shock, it barely did any damage. He hit me with another fireball, and I almost lost my footing. I could barely stand, so I turned and ran away from the fungal patch. Our fight would have to happen another day. From day 75 to day 78, I regretted my loss against Larson the Fire Ogre in my room at the fire station. Fighting fires was what I was meant to do, and as long as I couldn't defeat Larson, there would always be uncontrolled fires. I can save myself, but I can't save anyone else. Suddenly, the White Lioness came to see me. I thought you headed home to the flower forest.
I came back as soon as I heard you were doubting yourself. I need to show you something.
I followed the White Lioness to the outside of the base and found that a watchtower had been built next to the fire station.
With this, you'll be able to spot fires all over the overworld. You'll get your chance to face Larson the Fire Ogre again, when you're ready.
Thanks, White Lioness. You always know what to say. I went to hang out in the living room and met with Brian the Blue Ogre, chilling out as usual.
I've come up with a plan for how you can defeat my evil brother, Larson.
Let's hear it.
If you eat this magic golden carrot, you'll have the chilled out powers over ice, as well as a boatload more health.
That just might turn the tide, Brian. Thank you. I went outside and ate the magic golden carrot and became a massive super firefighter with the chill ability to fire blasts of ice. I had 100 hearts as well to make sure that I could survive many battles. From day 79 to day 84, I went back to the fungal patch to see how my new chill powers would stand up against another pack of demon grunts. I was attacked by a piglin brute, so I used my ice blast to freeze the mob solid before chopping it with my diamond fire axe. A traveling snow golem saw the fight and applauded my skill.
That was totally cool. You chilled the piglin brute out and put him on ice.
I'm glad you thought it was neat. These ice powers are brand new, so I'm still getting the hang of how to use them to fight fires.
You're a firefighter. I should have known because of that uniform you're wearing. But that's really cool too. You guys are heroes. If I was around fire, I'd melt from fear.
I'd recommend avoiding the fungal patch then. There's a powerful fire ogre out here who just wants to burn and destroy things.
Oh, really? Thanks for the heads up. I'm gonna go head to a place a bit more chill. But take this helmet for your troubles. Firefighters have a good helmet after all.
No problem, buddy. Sorry, bad pun. The snow golem gave me diamond leggings, which I equipped. I was more prepared to fight than ever, and not just fires. From day 85 to day 89, I went back to my base, which was currently on fire and under attack by the red manticores. Starting a fire at the fire station. That's a new low.
There's no low to which we of the Path of Demons won't sink to. We're just that rotten, mean, and nasty.
You're about to be frozen too, along with those other adjectives. I launched ice blasts at the red manticores, which put several of them on ice. Afterwards, I hacked them all down with my diamond fire axe. Soon, there were no more red manticores left outside the fire station. But there was a fire out on the horizon, so I went to put it out. I traveled a long way from the base until I found myself in a small village where many of the buildings were on fire.
Firefighter Zozo, help us please! Larson the Fire Ogre set all of our wooden houses ablaze!
Never fear, the firefighter is here! I used my fire hose to douse the flames rapidly and repeated the process until every house in the village was saved from the fire.
You protected us! How can we ever repay you?
Don't worry about it, villager. Fighting fires is its own reward. From day 90 to day 94, having helped the villagers, I searched for the red manticores all the way deep into the fungal patch. Why would anyone live here? This must be where the big boss Larson the Fire Ogre himself hangs his hat. When I arrived in the heart of the fungal patch, I couldn't see any red manticores. Instead, a Vex emerged from the darkness.
You must be Zozo, the firefighter. That's funny. I was expecting someone far more impressive.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Vex. Unlucky for you, I'm not sorry about defeating you.
How fiery of you. Let's see if we can turn up the heat even more.
From day 95 to day 97, I started my battle with the Vex. With his demon strength, he was one of the toughest enemies I'd ever battled. But there was one thing I knew for sure. I was right that Larson had a base in the fungal patch. He wouldn't send out his very best warrior if he wasn't scared I was getting too close to the truth. Knowing this made me fight harder than ever before. With my ice blast and my axe, I defeated the Vex. I'm getting a burning feeling that my quest is really getting exciting now. On day 98, knowing everything I needed to in order to battle Larson, I decided to make my peace with my friends back at my base. Either I'd come back from the lair of the Fire Ogre victorious, or I wouldn't come back at all. First, I spoke to the White Lioness.
You've convinced me, Zozo. You're a true firefighter and a true hero.
Second, I spoke to the Darkness Ostrich.
You were capable of defeating the Hell Ostrich, something I was never able to do. I believed you can win the day.
And finally, I spoke to Brian the Blue Ogre, the first kind person I'd met since starting my firefighting career.
I know you'll do what's right, Zozo. I lost my brother a long time ago. You can finally put him to rest and save the world from the fiery end. Do it, Zozo. Do what's right.
On day 99, I traveled into the dark heart of the fungal patch. I knew that Larson was hiding out here, and if I didn't stop him now, once and for all, he might burn the whole world down to the ground. But when I was outside of his lair, I realized this wouldn't be a one-on-one battle between me and the Fire Ogre. There were a whole bunch of those evil red manticores waiting outside. Now Larson may be evil, but he sure is smart. If I fight all those manticores, I'll be exhausted by the time I actually face the big boss. I heard footsteps coming up behind me. I turned and saw that it was the leather worker I'd helped before.
Howdy, Zozo. I can help you out. You get in there and put out that ogre's flame. I'll keep all those manticores distracted. Finish this!
You may be a leather worker, but my friend, you have the heart of a true firefighter. While the leather worker distracted the manticores, I ran straight in. On day 100, I ran into Larson's lair, ready to face him and finish this once and for all. He stood there in all of his terrible fiery glory, ready to battle me.
Firefighter, so you're finally ready to give yourself up to the flame.
You're so obsessed with fire. I'm amazed you haven't burned your own place down yet.
I'm planning on doing my place last. I'll burn everything eventually. But hey, you know what they say? The ogre that burns twice as bright burns half as long.
The time for talk was over. I needed to put out the flame. I blasted Larson with Ice Blast after Ice Blast, dueling the power of his demon flames. He fought viciously with all the burning power we'd learned to expect. But in the end, it was one decisive strike of my diamond axe that took care of him for good. I didn't start the fire, but I'm the one who put it out. On day 1, I spawned in as a police officer. Well, I was actually just a rookie, and I was pretty small, too. It's okay, I'll move up in no time. But where are all my other cop friends? Hello, is my partner around here? I was all alone, so I checked out my gear and realized I already had some handcuffs. Cool! Just then, I noticed some bandits nearby. They were around a cage full of citizens. I approached them, but before I knew it, they were attacking me. Hey, that's no way to treat an officer. What is going on here? Why is there so much crime? It's like the criminals are in control. I wanted to help the citizens, but I only had 5 hearts, and they were running low, fast. I hurried and ran away. I didn't feel good doing it, but I really needed to heal up before I could help anybody else. I found a small cave and made camp for the night. As I went to sleep, I wondered again where all the other cops were, and why it seemed like all the criminals had taken over. On day 2, I woke up and got right down to business. If there were no other cops, then I'd have to take care of things myself. I chopped down some trees and gathered some wood to make a crafting table. With that, I was able to make a wooden sword, pickaxe, shovel, and some other simple tools. These aren't the best, but they will do for now. I went out exploring and found a small village. I looked around, but everyone seemed to be gone. I wonder where everyone went. Just then, I heard some noise from behind a fence. It was a teenage girl. Hey, it's okay, I can help. She looked a little frightened, but she eventually came out of her hiding place. What happened?
There were some bandits that attacked our village. They took everyone captive, including my family.
I think I saw them earlier. I'm so sorry. I'll do what I can to get your family back. She seemed happy to hear that.
I'm Izzy.
I'm Zozo. Hey, we should find a safe place to go. If I build us a safe house, would you want to stay there? She happily agreed. Before we left, we went through the houses to gather some supplies. I found some leather, coal, and some food. I also harvested what was left of the crops so we could make ourselves a garden. On day 3, Izzy and I started off into the forest. I found a section of land we liked and decided to build a base there. We started building and made ourselves some simple houses. Then I started a little garden with the seeds I had collected.
Thanks, Zozo. You're a good cop.
It is my job to serve and protect. Just then, a bunch of rats came out from behind some trees. Oh, gross, get away! I was sure glad I had my new sword, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to defeat them. After I took out the last rat, I felt a surge of power and I leveled up. Cool, I'm an actual officer now. I had a shiny new baton and everything. I even gained a few more hearts. On days 4 to 5, I went out to gather some more materials. I was able to mine some cobblestone to make some new tools. On my way back to the base, I saw some bandits nearby. They looked like the ones I had seen earlier. earlier, but they didn't have a cage this time. There were only a few of them, so I knew I could take them out. I charged at them and attacked with my baton. I managed to get some hits in, but I finally defeated them all. Nice! I noticed that one had dropped something, so I picked it up. It was a note that told the bandits where to go to capture more people. It was signed by someone named Jenkins. That must be who they are working for. I'll have to find out some more information about him later. I returned to the base and greeted Izzy. She seemed really happy to be in a safe place. Hopefully we could help others find refuge here too. On day 6 to 8, I crafted some new stuff from the supplies I had gathered. I made a furnace and then made a tunic and some boots, using the leather I had looted from the village. Yeah, I'm ready to take on anything now. Just then, I heard Izzy screaming outside. I rushed out and followed her voice. I found her by the waterside being attacked by some spiders. Get back, you nasties! With my baton, I was easily able to defeat all of them.
Thanks, Zozo.
No problem, just be careful in the future.
Will do. Hey, I have something for you.
Izzy threw me some flowers she had picked.
I picked these for you. I thought they could brighten up the base a little bit.
For sure. We went back to the base, and I went right ahead and planted some of the flowers. Izzy was right. It did give a little life to the place. Just don't go wandering off again. I can't protect you if you're too far away. She nodded. Here, I'll make you a sword, just in case. I went over to my crafting table and made Izzy a simple sword and some other tools.
Thanks. These are great.
She went outside to pick some flowers, this time closer to the base. She's a funny one. I just hope she doesn't get into trouble again. On days 9 to 10, I decided to go out and search for some new materials. And I wanted more information about Jenkins. I'm sure somebody knew something. I found another village that seemed abandoned. I started to gather up some crops when I heard a scream. I ran around the corner to see some bandits capturing people. I also noted one huge buff guy in a suit. That seems strange. I charged toward the bandits and took out a few. Then the man in the suit laughed. I charged at him, but he sidestepped me. He drew a large sword that seemed to glow red. He smacked me once and nearly took me out. I had to hide so he wouldn't destroy me. The bandits and the man left, taking the villagers with them. I felt so angry that I couldn't do anything. Then I noticed one of the bandits on the ground. I had hit him, but he was still alive. He was trying to crawl away. Hey! I hurried and handcuffed him. He struggled, but he was frozen in place. Where are you taking the people you're capturing? The bandit threw a potato at me. I was about to make my final swing with my baton when he started screaming.
Okay, I'll talk.
That's what I like to hear.
We work for Jenkins, the mob boss. We were taking the prisoners back to his compound.
Why is he capturing people?
He captures basically everyone he doesn't like. Only the lucky ones get to be his bandits.
Sure, lucky.
I was captured a long time ago, but Jenkins liked me, so now I work for him.
Why didn't you help people instead of capturing them?
Jenkins is too powerful. Anyone who tries to fight him is always beaten.
I could see why. That sword he had was different somehow. Really powerful too. But he couldn't keep taking people away. It wasn't right. I'm going to defeat him. The bandit seemed intrigued.
You really think you can take him on?
I wasn't entirely sure, but I knew somebody had to try. It's the right thing to do. The bandit seemed even more intrigued.
Can I join you?
I was a little suspicious of him, but I decided to let him come with me. If anything, he could give me some valuable information.
I'm Lionel.
I'm Officer Zozo. Nice to meet you. On days 11 through 12, I took Lionel's cuffs off and we headed back to the base. We started to work on a small house for him. He seemed really happy.
I haven't had my own house in so long. Jenkins just keeps us all in small bunks together. Thanks, Zozo.
Of course. Lionel actually seemed like a good guy. Maybe we would be friends after all. I introduced him to Izzy, and she seemed a little suspicious of him too. After a while though, she warmed up to him, especially after he offered to help her pick flowers. I decided the base was in good hands, so I went back to the cave to gather some more materials. As I went deeper, I noticed some skeletons were guarding a big deposit of iron. I could really use that. I charged toward the iron, but the skeletons had bows and arrows. Whoa, I didn't notice that. They all shot at me and depleted almost all of my health. I can't do this, I'm gonna die. I ran off and tried to heal for a minute. Oh, that was intense. I need some better weapons, but that iron is what I need to make a better sword. I went down a different tunnel and found a different iron deposit. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough to craft a new sword. Perfect. I creeped back down the tunnel and charged the skeletons again. It was tricky, but I was finally able to defeat them all. They even dropped some nice bows, which I promptly looted. Thank goodness. I mined all the iron and took it back home with me. I was able to make some more tools and even some armor. Yeah, this is amazing. I then called it a day. On days 13 to 15, I woke up to Lionel knocking on my door. Hey Lionel, what's up?
Zozo, I need to tell you something about Jenkins.
We sat down.
I really want to be optimistic, but Jenkins is really powerful.
I know, Lionel, but I am getting stronger.
But you don't understand, Zozo. Jenkins isn't just a normal guy. He once was, but when he was younger, he was hungry for power. His father was the mob boss, but Jenkins wanted to be in charge. He made a blood oath to some supernatural force, and it gave him his red blinking sword. He destroyed his father as a sacrifice. Jenkins gained power over the people, but the sword gained power over him. It's basically alive and it feeds on people. That's why Jenkins
Jenkins keeps capturing people to feed the sword and keep his power.
This was a lot to take in. I thought it was just a blinking sword. This was something I wasn't sure I could handle.
I wanted to tell you so you know what you're going up against.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Lionel left and I sat there for a while. I was way in over my head. On days 16 to 19, I woke up to Lionel yelling my name. I opened the door. What is it, Lionel?
It's Izzy. She's missing. But here, there's a note and a map.
I took the note and read it. Izzy had gone outside and been captured by some villagers. They told me that if I wanted her back, I would need to pay them in gold. They even drew us a little map to where we needed to go.
We don't have any gold.
It doesn't matter. We need to go get her. Come on, let's go. We headed out in the direction the map said and reached a desert. Soon, we made it to a small village. It looked like it was in ruins. Hello, we are here to get our friend back. We turned the corner and saw Izzy. She was in a cage and surrounded by a few villagers. One villager with a wooden crown and sword came forward.
Give us the gold and we won't hurt you.
We don't have any gold. Give us our friend.
No, if you don't give me my gold, then I'll take it from you.
The villager lunged and attacked me. He was a good fighter, but I was better. After just a minute, I managed to defeat him. I felt another surge of power, and I leveled up into a sergeant. Nice! Izzy ran towards us and cried happily.
Thanks for saving me. I won't wander outside at night ever again.
A young man stepped forward.
Are you really going to save us from Jenkins? That's what Izzy told us.
He has a powerful sword that I'm not sure I can go up against.
I know it could help. It's a legendary sword dropped by a knight in a battle long ago. It's been lost somewhere in the desert.
That sparked a little hope in me. Maybe I could defeat Jenkins after all. Do you want to come live in our base? It'll be safer there. A few villagers wanted to stay in their homes, but the young man agreed.
I'm Nick.
Nice to meet you, Nick. I'm Sergeant Zozo. We gathered some supplies and then took off towards the base. On days 20 to 22, we arrived back at the base, but it was on fire. There were some zombies on fire too. What the heck? We hurried and defeated them and then put the fire out in the base. It looks like we have some work to do. Nick and Lionel helped me while Izzy went back in her house to rest. She had had a long day getting kidnapped and all. She deserved to sleep. We made some new improvements to the base, including a better fence, and started building a house for Nick. I was happy to have him around and looked forward to learning more about the sword he was talking about.
Hey Zozo, we should build a statue to let people know this is a safe place from Jenkins, and that you're gonna kick his bum.
Huh, that's a good idea, Lionel. We chatted about the statue with Nick and decided on something simple. Can you guess what it is? Also, hurry and hit subscribe so you can follow me on more adventures. On days 23 to 26, I was gathering some crops from our garden when a bunch of bees started attacking the base. Ah, where did you come from? Everyone got their weapons and we managed to fight them off. As I hit the last one, it dropped something. I picked it up and it was some golden apples. Wow, these look amazing. I should probably save them for later though. I went up to chat with Lionel. Hey, I think it would be really helpful if we scouted Jenkins' base, just to see what we were up against.
I think that's a great idea. We just need to be careful. There are guards literally everywhere.
Nick and Izzy decided to stay behind and work on the statue while we headed out to the compound. It was a little bit of a journey, but when we arrived, I could see what Lionel meant. It was huge, and there were guards all over the place. Wow, you weren't kidding.
I know that there is a guard entrance in the back, but only the higher-ranking guards or bandits can open it. And Jenkins, of course.
Just then, we saw a bandit running towards us. We started to run away and thought we had lost him, when suddenly he popped out from behind a tree.
Lionel, brother, I knew that was you.
Luke?
I heard you were dead, but when I saw you from the tower, I knew I had to come and get you.
Luke drew his sword and went to attack me.
No, don't! This is my friend Zozo. He's going to help us defeat Jenkins.
Luke snorted.
Yeah, right.
He will. He's going to find the legendary sword of the night and defeat him.
Luke seemed skeptical. I know it might seem impossible, but I can do it. I'll free everyone, and you won't have to be a slave anymore. Luke looked convinced enough.
Okay, I'm in. I don't like the food there anyway.
Luke chatted with us about what had happened recently with Jenkins. He had been raiding more and more villages lately, hungry for power. We then made our way back to the base. Once we got back to the base, we cleared out an area and made a house for Luke as well. Even though him and Lionel were brothers, they wanted their own places. I didn't blame them. We also made some improvements to the base, including some towers and a higher fence.
Wow, this is actually pretty rad, Sarge.
Luke saluted me incorrectly. He was an odd one, but I was glad to be helping people get away from Jenkins. On days 27 to 31, I went to talk to Nick about the legendary sword. He was picking some flowers. Are those for Izzy? He seemed to blush a little bit.
Maybe.
Her favorite are the blue ones.
Hey, thanks.
He picked up some blue flowers while we chatted. So, the sword.
Yeah, so all I know is that it's buried somewhere deep in the desert. It's super powerful.
It sounded like a very interesting weapon. Jenkins needed to be stopped, and this seemed like the only way to do it. Let's go find that sword.
All right.
We stopped at the base so that Nick could give his flowers to Izzy. She seemed really happy about them and wished us good luck. We gathered some supplies place and then headed out into the desert. It was so big and I had no idea where to start. Any idea where it could be?
Just somewhere in the desert.
We started digging around, looking for some significant formations. It was honestly just a lot of sand. Then out of nowhere, a bunch of snakes came slithering up to us. Nope, none of that. I drew my sword and started fighting them off, but there were too many, and they started biting me. We need to go, Nick. We ran away and made our way back to the base. We felt discouraged, but I would find the sword. I just knew it. On days 32 to 35, we traveled back to the base. On the way there, we ran into a traveling merchant.
Hello, lots of items for sale. Anything you could want, really. Name your price.
We aren't in need of items, but maybe you have some information. What do you know about the legendary sword that was lost in the desert? The merchant rifled through some items, looking for paper.
Yes, here it is. I once encountered a man who said it was buried in the furthest reaches of the desert, never to be found again.
Never?
Never!
He raised his arms dramatically and waved them around. I looked at Nick. This guy was a little bit wacky. Probably not the best source for information. Well, thanks. We'll be going now.
Not on my watch.
I turned around to see Jenkins with some of his guards. The merchant screamed and hid behind his camel.
I've met you before. You're that annoying little rookie I swatted back in the village.
It's Sergeant Zozo to you. I drew my baton and attacked his guards. I easily took a few of them out, but then I saw Jenkins use his blinking red sword. I was in trouble now. He smacked me and I felt my health start to drop. I still wasn't even close to being strong enough to defeat him. Just then, I looked in the merchant's shulker and saw some TNT. Yes. Take this, Jenkins! I placed the TNT and blew up the sand around us. Come on, Nick, we gotta go!
Wait for me!
The merchant sprinted behind us, cradling an armful of items. We all ran off towards the base, leaving Jenkins in a sandy mess. On days 36 to 39, we all arrived at the base safely. The merchant looked exhausted.
Thank you for saving me. Jenkins would have had my head for sure.
Of course, we are glad to have found another friend with us.
I'm Caleb. Please, let me repay you for your kindness.
The merchant handed me a rock he was holding. Thanks.
It's my favorite rock. Take good care of it.
I pocketed the rock, thinking how odd this man was. But then we decided to help Caleb set up a little shop in the base so he could continue to sell his wares, whatever they may be.
I lost most of my items in the commotion, but this will do for now.
Anything else you need?
Actually, if you could gather some sand for me, I could make some glass bottles to store more items.
I decided it wasn't too much of a hassle, so I went to the desert and gathered some sand for Caleb. When I came back, he was very grateful.
Ah, yes, perfect. This will definitely help.
I then decided to do some work on the statue for a little while. It was looking pretty good, but it wasn't done quite yet. On days 40 to 43, I went out to mine some more materials to make some upgrades to the base. On my way there, I passed by a small group of travelers. They looked like farmers of some sort, but they must have thought I was working with Jenkins because they yelled and tried to run away when they saw me. Wait, I won't hurt you. I'm a police officer. They stopped running and approached me.
Oh, a young hero. Maybe you can help us.
Sure, what is it?
All of our animals were stolen by some hooligans in the forest. If you could go get them back for us, we'd be so grateful.
It seemed like an easy enough task. Sure, do you know where they are?
Yes, they live in an outpost next to the foot of the mountains. We don't dare get close because they have better weapons than us.
I'll help you. In the meantime, you can stay at my base. I pointed them in the right direction, and they headed that way. I went towards the mountain they mentioned, and before long, I saw the outpost. There were a bunch of animals all shoved into a pen nearby.
Looky here, boys. We've got a live one.
I drew my sword and charged the pillagers. There weren't many of them, and their weapons were very simple. I picked off a few of them easily, but their leader seemed a little more skilled. We exchanged a few more blows, but after a minute, I defeated him. Alright guys, let's get you back to your owners. I grabbed some leads from the house and wrangled up the animals. We were able to make it back to the base safely. When we got there, the farmers were overjoyed.
Thank you, Zozo. Please feel free to use as much wool and milk as you'd like.
Thanks. It'd be really good to have some more food sources, and the farmer seemed more than happy to stay with us. On days 44 to 49, I journeyed back to the desert where I'd gathered the sand for Caleb. I figured there could be some other useful materials nearby. When I got there, I noticed there was a sea turtle being attacked by a squid. Hey, you let him go! I jumped in and smacked the squid. He tried to maneuver back deeper into the water, but I was too fast. Before I knew it, the squid was defeated. Thank you, sir. You are my hero. The sea turtle nodded in appreciation. Of course, I am here to serve and protect everyone.
That's so good to hear. It's been so long since we've had a hero in this land. I remember when that knight promised to protect everyone, but he went bad.
This was new information. Bad how?
Do you not know the story?
Can't say that I do.
The knight was named Polybius. He protected the king and his daughter, but he realized there were too many enemies, and he was only one man. So he prayed to a deity, begging for their help to protect his friends. They granted him the sword, and he named it Brink.
Brink?
Because everything was on the brink of destruction.
Okay, continue.
So he was gifted Brink and was told that it would always be his if his goals remained true and right to the kingdom. Time went on, and he was able to vanquish all of the king's enemies. But after a while, Plebus became prideful and decided he wanted to show everyone how powerful he was. He challenged a man to a duel of strength, and he was defeated. The sword fell to the ground, but nobody was able to pick it up. Over time, the ground changed and it was buried within the earth.
So how would someone pick it up?
If your goals are true to the kingdom, or I guess now just the land, then you should be able to pick it up.
This was good information to have. Even if I did find the sword, would I be worthy enough to retrieve it? Thank you. You've been a lot of help.
Of course. Thank you.
And with that, the turtle swam off. I gathered some more materials while I thought about what he said. I really hope I can get that sword. It's our only option at this point. On days 50 to 53, I decided to go deeper into the desert to see if I could get any clues as to where the sword might be. While out looking around, I happened upon the group of snakes again. Hey, get out of my way! I had grown stronger since the last time I saw these danger noodles, so I was able to defeat them easily. If only I could defeat Jenkins that easily.
Did you say Jenkins?
I flipped around and saw an old backpacker standing nearby. Yeah, I did.
Good for nothing, scoundrel.
The man spit into the sand.
If you want to defeat him, you better get that sword I've heard so much about.
I'm trying to, I just have no idea where to find it. The backpacker pulled out a paper with a drawing on it. It looked like a hand reaching up.
I was told that the sword is buried deep underneath this rock formation. I haven't seen it in my travels, but maybe you'll find it.
Wow, thanks, this helps a lot.
Of course, you might want this too.
He handed me a bunch of diamonds. I can't take these away from you.
Sure you can. Just promise when you defeat Jenkins, you tell everyone how much I helped you.
I will, sir.
It's good old Tim.
Tim.
No, good old Tim. The whole thing.
Oh, right. Thanks, good old Tim. He waved goodbye and headed off. What an interesting dude. On days 54 to 57, I went back to the base to make some new armor out of the diamonds I had gotten. Wow, this is incredible! I also made some new tools so that I could do some renovations to the base. I added some lanterns, expanded the garden, and made sure everything was well lit. Everything was looking great. And then decided it was too late to do anything else and went to sleep. In the morning, I heard a familiar voice coming from outside.
Zozo, I need your assistance, if you please.
Caleb was calling to me from his shop. I headed over to chat with him. Hey Caleb, what else do you need?
Those bottles were great, but now I need a few more things in order for my shop to really thrive.
Okay, what do you need?
Melons.
Melons?
Yes, melons. Now off with you.
I shrugged my shoulders. Caleb was odd, but I wanted him to be happy. It seemed like an easy enough task. I went exploring for a little bit in the forest before I happened upon some melons. Easy enough. I harvested the melons, gathered some of the seeds, and headed back to the base. I brought them back to Caleb.
Perfect.
He started mixing some stuff together in the back, and then came out a few minutes later with a bottle.
Here you are, Sergeant.
I looked, and it was a potion of healing. Oh wow, thanks Caleb. This will really come in handy.
Of course. Anything for you, good sir.
He gave me a half bow with an awkward salute. It was good enough. On days 58 to 62, we worked on the statue for a little while. It was starting to look almost as I had intended. So how was your first guess? Do you think you know what it is still? I was standing on the top when I saw the base being attacked down below. Hey, those look like some of Jenkins' bandits. I hurried and ran down to fight them off. Get out of our home, you good-for-nothing scoundrels. I was starting to sound a little bit like good old Tim. I was able to fight almost all of them off. A few escaped, but I wasn't too worried about them. I was able to head back to my house when I heard Izzy yelling for me.
Zozo, come quick. It's Lionel.
I ran to Lionel's house and found him hunched over on the floor. He looked really bad. Hey buddy, let's get you some help.
No, it's too late for me, Zozo. Just go get Luke for me.
Luke? Is he in his house?
No, he's the one who stabbed me. I overheard him talking to the bandits. He was in league with them all along. Jenkins wants Brink for himself so that nobody can defeat him. Apparently, they just found out about an old lady who knows exactly where to find the sword.
I couldn't believe it. Luke seemed like an okay guy. How could anyone betray their brother like that? Don't worry, Lionel. I'll get him.
Hurry, Zozo. He already left out of the back door.
Lionel took in one last breath, and then he died. I was so angry, but I didn't have time for that right now. I needed to go after Luke and find the sword before he could. On days 63 to 66, I followed some tracks leading into a woodland area. They must have been Luke's and the other bandits that got away. I tracked them for a while before coming to a small rundown cottage. The door was broken and I heard some yelling. I ran inside, drawing my sword. The two bandits were rummaging around, stealing from an old lady. She was sitting helpless in a chair. Hey, you get out of here! I quickly picked off the bandits and gave the old lady back her things.
Thank you, young man. I owe you my life.
All I need is some information, ma'am, and apparently you have it. She nodded like she understood.
The sword is under a rock formation, shaped like a hand reaching toward the sky. It is said that is how the knight, Plebus, died.
I gave her the picture that good old Tim gave me. She looked at it.
That's the one. I saw it a long time ago when I was traveling through the far east side of the desert.
She drew me a simple map that led to its location. It seemed to point into the desert.
Here you go, young man. I fear that the other young man called Luke will find it before you do. So hurry hurry.
Will do. Thank you. I took the map and ran as fast as I could toward the line the old lady had drawn. I hoped that Luke hadn't found it, but I did hope to find him. I had a score to settle. On days 67 to 70, I arrived at the rock formation. I noticed that more bandits were there, and I saw Luke with them. They were gathered around a cart and a tunnel someone had dug. I charged at them all. How dare you hurt my friends! I swung and slashed and managed to defeat all of them, which left Luke and I alone.
Just give up, Zozo. You've lost.
I yelled in anger and charged at Luke. Lionel was your brother. How could you have betrayed him like that?
He was garbage, just like you. I'm gonna enjoy throwing you out as well.
He charged again and he smacked me really hard. I didn't realize how close I was to the opening of the tunnel. I fell down and nearly died. Luke sneered at me from above, then took off running. Coward! I looked around and noticed that the tunnel extended further into the ground. I hoped that I would find what I was looking for down there. On day 71 to 74, I walked down the tunnel for a little while before entering a large cavern. There seemed to be something in the middle of the room. I went closer to examine it and realized they had dug out all the dirt surrounding the sword. They must have taken all of it with them. They had the sword, but obviously they couldn't wield it. Maybe I did have a chance, but I was really discouraged. If Jenkins had the sword in his compound, how was I supposed to beat him? I looked around to see if I could find anything else of value. There were a few deposits of coal, but nothing more. I climbed back up through the tunnel and into the desert. It was going to be a long and painful journey home. On day 75 to 78, I headed back to the base, my head hanging low. Nick ran toward me.
So did you get Luke? Where's the sword?
Luke escaped. They took the sword, too. I didn't really feel like talking. I honestly just felt really sad.
Zozo, I have something for you, my friend.
Caleb motioned me over. I'm not really in the mood, Caleb.
Trust me, you'll like this.
He pulled out something from underneath his counter.
Since you really liked the TNT from last time, I decided to make you some more.
He gave me a whole stash of it. It didn't really cheer me up since I already had loads from before, but I figured it could be useful later. Thanks, Caleb. I started toward my house, but then decided to go into Luke's instead. Maybe he left something of use behind. As I entered, I heard some noise. I turned around as Luke stepped into the room. How did you get in here?
Like I would tell you.
Luke unsheathed his sword and we fought again. This time, I wasn't going to let him escape. We exchanged blows, but I was way stronger than him. After just a few more hits, I was able to defeat him. That's for Lionel. Just then, I noticed that Luke had dropped some stuff. It looked like a key and a map. This key must be to the back door of the compound. All of a sudden, I felt power coursing through my veins, and I leveled up into a lieutenant. Wow. I even grew a mustache and got some cool new shades. Wow, look at me! I looked at the map. It led to a section of tundra. This must be where they were taking the sword to. Luke must have come back here to get some of his stuff before heading there. But how did he get in? I looked around and found a secret door leading down into the ground. I followed it and it opened up outside the base, hidden behind some bushes. That explains it. I went back and filled the tunnel up, making sure nobody else could get inside. On days 79 to 84, I followed the map to the tundra. It was freezing and I didn't really like it that much, but I passed some different animals, so that was cool. I finally arrived, the freezing air whipping through my hair and mustache. It's freezing. I decided to make myself a little igloo to keep myself warm. I knew Jenkins and his bandits were coming to the tundra. I just didn't know exactly where they would be. I guess the location on the map was incorrect? I went back outside to look around, but then I saw someone running toward me. I hurried to draw my sword, but the person stopped before they could reach me.
Wait, you're not Jenkins?
No, I'm not. Who are you?
I'm Meg. I've been following Jenkins and his crew for a while now. I'm trying to defeat him and save my family.
I'm trying to defeat him too. He's captured my friends and destroyed people that I love.
I'm sorry. Maybe we can work together.
Sounds good to me. How are you going to defeat him? She seemed uneasy.
Honestly, I wasn't exactly sure. I know that I'm a good fighter, but he is really powerful.
So you've been tracking him. Do you know where he is exactly? Meg shook her head.
I followed them, but there was a large snowstorm that came through. I lost my way, so I've been wandering around for a bit.
I invited her inside to get warm. I showed her the map and she got really excited.
Hey, there's an abandoned mine shaft around here.
She took out a pencil and drew a circle on the map.
I'll bet that's where they are headed.
Perfect, let's go! We gathered in all the warmth we could, and then we headed out to the mine shaft. On days 85 to 89, Meg and I went tromping through the snow to the abandoned mine shaft. It was so cold and snowy. We had been walking for a long time when we realized we were back at the igloo. What? How?
We must have gotten turned around in the snowstorm.
This was so frustrating.
You're wasting your time. Jenkins is long gone.
I flipped around and saw good old Tim. Hey, what are you doing here?
Ice fishing.
He didn't have a fishing pole though, so I was really confused. Okay, did you see Jenkins?
Yes, sir. Came around with a cart and headed down the mine shaft. He left though. Still had the cart with him, so whatever it was didn't work. Or did. I don't know.
He shrugged nonchalantly. He must have taken the sword back to his compound. It all felt like a big waste of time. Good old Tim must have noticed I looked a little down because he put his hand on my shoulder.
It's okay, Lieutenant. Here, this'll cheer you up.
He handed me some ingots, which I realized were netherite.
That'll make you a good and proper sword, Lieutenant.
Now go save us.
Wow, thank you. Where do you keep finding all of these things?
My secret.
Good old Tim smiled and winked at me. I looked at Meg, who smiled at me, and when I looked back, good old Tim was gone. Whoa, where did he go? I was starting to think that maybe good old Tim was my guardian angel or something. Meg and I shrugged at each other and headed into the igloo for the night. It had been a long and cold couple of days, and we needed some sleep. On days 90 to 94, I invited Meg to come back to the base, and she happily agreed. We gathered some more food along the way, since we figured our friends would be hungry. Once we got there, I repaired my armor and used my smithing table to upgrade my diamond sword into a netherite sword. It was amazing! I swung it around to test it out. This isn't Brink, but it'll sure give Jenkins a run for his money. I also upgraded my armor into netherite. It was going to be tough to beat me. I went outside to show my friends. They got really excited and started cheering me on.
Yeah, Zozo!
You're our hero. Go beat Jenkins and get our land back.
I felt really strong and hopeful, but I knew there were a few things I needed to do before I could go infiltrate Jenkins' compound. On days 95 to 97, I woke up to the farmers I had helped calling out for me. I went outside and they gave me supplies to finish the statue as a thanks. Using everything they had given me, I got right to work. It took a little bit of time, but soon I had finished the statue. Wow, it looks amazing, guys. We did a great job.
No, thank you, Zozo. You've brought us all in and protected us. It's been a long time since anyone has had hope, but you've given it to us, so thank you.
I looked up at the statue of Brink. I knew that I didn't have the sword with me, but the statue gave me hope that I would find it again. I knew I could beat Jenkins. It was my destiny. On day 98, I went to say goodbye to my friends before heading out to the compound. Just then, Meg approached me from behind.
Zozo, I'd like to come with you. I want to fight alongside you and find my family.
You are more than welcome to come. We crafted Meg some better armor and weapons, and then we made one last trip around the base.
You take care of yourself, Lieutenant.
Will do, Nick. Take care of the base for us. If anyone else needs help, let them in.
For sure.
I talked to Caleb. He rummaged around and gave me and Meg another potion of healing.
Now go and be triumphant, young hero.
Thanks. We stopped at Izzy last. She gave me a beautiful arrangement of flowers.
Thank you for saving me, Zozo. Now go save everyone else.
Will do. I then left Izzy's house. If you want to support the last of our journey, be sure to subscribe. The more people we have, the stronger we can become. And with that, Meg and I headed out to the compound of Jenkins. On day 99, Meg and I arrived at the compound. We snuck to the back door and used the key Luke had dropped. It worked, and we snuck up through a tunnel into a large room. There were bandits everywhere. We decided to charge in and fight them. Meg and I fought our way through all of them easily, making our way to some stairs.
Zozo, I'm going to look for my family. You go find Jenkins.
Be safe. She went down the stairs and I went up further into the mansion. There were a few more bandits on the way, which I easily took out. I finally came to a large dark red room. It was incredibly creepy. At one end of the room, there was a lava lake with a pedestal. On top of it was a sword. That has to be Brink, but it's different than what I had imagined. I started towards it, but then felt something hit me backwards. It was Jenkins! He must have been hiding behind a pillar, waiting for me. His red sword blinked.
Young police officer, why won't you just stop bothering me?
I'm here to bring justice to those you have wronged. He laughed at me.
Sure. Do your worst, rookie.
I charged at him and our swords clashed. Then I noticed that my sword was not really effective at all. I needed to get Brink sooner rather than later.
Just give up. You're no match against me.
If that's so, then why couldn't you wield Brink? He yelled in anger.
It's just a silly, stubborn sword. I thought freezing it in the tundra mine would work, but it didn't. But it doesn't matter. I don't need a dinky little sword when I have this.
He swung his sword around, slicing at me. My health went down, but I hurried and drank a health potion. Thank goodness for those. I was able to maneuver around Jenkins and hit him, causing him to stumble. I knew this was my chance. I ran towards Brink, reaching towards the hilt. Jenkins ran after me, ready to swing.
No!
On day 100, Brink released from the pedestal into my hands. I felt an amazing surge of power, and I transformed into a bigger and stronger police officer. I was now the chief of police. I had robotic features, and the power from me stunned Jenkins for a second. Give up, Jenkins! He growled, and I attacked him. Our swords met, and his shattered into dust.
No!
He tried to run away, but I attacked. Jenkins was defeated in one single blow. I did it! I jumped for joy. I knew I would retrieve the sword and defeat Jenkins. We could all go home now. I hurried down the stairs and helped Meg release the prisoners. They all went back to their homes, finally at peace that the land was free of Jenkins. Meg and I made our way back to the base with her and Izzy's families. We all celebrated the victory, happy to know that everyone was safe.
On day 1, I spawned inside of Gotham City as Batman. Well, Bat Baby. And to no surprise, it's under attack. Being this tiny is a little intimidating with all the fires and criminals running around. It's a giant disaster. Someone needs to clean this town up. Just then, the Joker appeared.
Hear ye, hear ye! In a mere 100 days, I will be launching my new product. Yes, that's right. I will be flooding the world with Smilex gas. everyone will be turned into clowns. Stay tuned for the big drop. Here's a little teaser. Hee.
Just then, he grabbed a couple thugs and turned them into clowns with a sample of his clown gas. This clown gas was serious business. I had to get out of there, so I ran into a nearby alley. I have 100 days to figure out how to stop Joker before he sends in the clowns. On day 2, I made my way around Gotham's alleyways, getting to know them. I realized I only had 3 hearts, so I'd have to be very careful. Just as the thought left my head, I bumped into a couple of Joker's thugs. They weren't very friendly. You wouldn't hurt a baby, would you?
Aw, a puny Batman. Let's smash it. Joker will be so pleased.
They had no mercy, and they started to attack me. My only defense was to run. I tried to lose them in the alleys, but eventually they cornered me in a dead end. I had nowhere else to run. I was done for. You'll never get away with this. Just as they were closing in on me, I heard someone call to me from above. I looked up and saw a cop looking out a window.
Quick, use your grappling hook, kid.
Grappling hook? I checked my supplies, and yep, sure enough, I had one. I shot it into the air, it locked onto the window, and I whizzed out of reach of the thugs. That was a close one. Thanks for the life-saving tip. I see you're a cop. Why is there so much crime in this city?
Sorry, champ, but there's no time to explain. Come with me, I'll get you out of here.
On day 3, the policeman took me through a secret passageway inside the apartment and through a tunnel that led to the Gotham City Police Station. So this is where law enforcement is holed up. Can I have a word with whoever is in charge? The policeman took me into an office.
Commissioner Gordon, I have someone here who wants to speak with you.
Yes?
I quickly explained to the man about Joker's plan to turn the world into clowns in 100 days. Well, 97 days to be exact. The man named Gordon was very concerned, but looked defeated.
That's good intel. I wish I had the resources to go after him. I really do. But most of my men are injured from fights, and we are low on supplies. Do you have anyone to look after you?
Mom? Dad! Can anyone help me? No, not anymore. But I'm tough. I don't need anyone.
Well, you won't last long alone. Here, take these.
He handed me a potion of healing, a potion of regeneration, a chicken sandwich, some extra bread, and a smoke bomb to help get away undetected. Whoa, that is super cool of you, Commissioner. Thank you. I won't rest until I have stopped the Joker.
How about I come with you? I know this city like the back of a donut. And there's not much left to do here, sir. I finished mopping the bathroom twice.
That would be amazing.
Well, it's all right with me. Just take care, you two. Joker is not someone you want to mess with.
We'll be careful. We understand Joker is seriously twisted. I followed the policeman back out of the headquarters and into the city. On days 4 through 5, we were back in the city and trying to avoid the thugs running amok. I decided that if we wanted to remain with our hearts intact, we would have to find a place to lie low until we got stronger. The policeman, whose name was Joey, had an idea on a safe place to go. It was an abandoned house outside the city. He called it Wayne Manor. It sounded promising, and so we headed out of the city into the wilderness. As we passed by some trees, I punched a few to craft a table and make some wood tools. Then I mined some stone to upgrade my tools.
Bad baby, we got some company, the hairy kind.
There was a pack of wolves getting ready to attack. We dashed away, but we couldn't outrun this foe. I had to think on my feet. I instinctively grabbed the smoke bomb and created a giant cloud of smoke. The wolves were disoriented, and we made a break for it. We lost them. Wait, there's still one on our tails. I'll handle this. With the help of my stone sword, I was able to defeat the lone wolf. With the battle won, black particles shot up into the air and bats spawned around me. I started to grow into a slightly bigger bat with more hearts. My suit also looks way cooler now. The rest of the wolves had now caught up, but seeing me change before their very eyes scared them off. They turned and ran.
Nice work, kid. Now let's get out of here.
We finally made it to the empty manor. I fixed up a couple of the rooms and called it a night. I showed the policeman to his new room and we went to bed. On days 6 to 8, I woke up and explored outside to get more wood. I ended up near the outskirts of the city and saw a woman being chased by one of Joker's thugs with a knife. Hey, leave her alone! The thug turned his attention to me and came at me. We brawled for a while, and thankfully, I could tell he was on his last leg, and I was able to best him. With the thug gone, the woman approached me.
Wow, no one has ever come to my rescue like that before. Thank you. My name is Vicky, by the way.
Nice to meet you. I'm Zozo. Sorry that guy was chasing you.
Yeah, I'm used to it. You see, I'm a photographer, and I've been documenting all the destruction Joker has caused since taking over. I was getting some really great shots when a monster attacked, and I accidentally dropped my camera,
but had to keep running. I'm mostly devastated about that.
That's awful luck. We can go on a recovery mission to get your camera back. I'm down to clown with those clowns. Vicky was so surprised and excited that I would help her. But hey, I am Zozo. It's what I do. On days 9 to 10, Vicky and I waited until the cover of nightfall to sneak back into the city.
Over there.
Vicky motioned to the end of a long alley where her camera was on the ground. We looked around, and with no sign of the monster, I took my chance to seize the camera. Just as I was about to grab it, a big mob jumped down from his hiding place. He was blocking the camera. I could not get to it. I tried to take him on, but he was too strong.
Vicky, we have to abandon our mission. We gotta get out of here.
We ran away until we reached the outskirts of town. We stopped to catch our breath once it was safe.
I'm so sorry we couldn't get to the camera. I failed you.
It's disappointing, but it's not your fault. You're the first person to offer to help me. I'll just have to try again another day.
I'm glad you're not angry with me. Well, for the time being, you're welcome to stay at my base. It's a safe location. Vicky accepted my offer.
On days 11 to 12, Vicky and I returned to Wayne Manor. I asked her if she knew anything about Joker's evil plans with the gas.
I overheard he is planning to release the gas up from the sewers, but that's all I know.
That was a hot tip. Thanks, Vicky. Vicky was going to need her own space in the manor, so I fixed up a spot. I showed her what I had done.
This is the nicest thing anyone has ever done for me.
Ain't no thing but a bat wing. I then turned my attention to the fact that I was seriously underprepared to go back to the city. I'd need to get stronger, so I headed out to mine some iron and coal. Then I went back to the base and built a furnace to smelt the materials into some armor and a couple other handy tools. My stomach started to growl. I'm sure my friends were hungry too. I poked around for some food and ended up finding a cemetery on the premises. There were 2 graves there. The gravestones read the name of my parents. And cue the waterworks. I felt sad that they were gone, but comforted that I could visit their resting places. Eventually, I came across a small wheat and lettuce field. I used the seeds and wheat to lure some cows, sheep, and chickens back to the yard. Welcome to the Wayne Manor farm. I built them corrals and got them all set so we could have a constant food source and breed them. On days 13 to 15, I wanted to find a way to get stronger, so I asked Joey if he had any ideas.
We need items, kid. Potions, enchantments, protections, that kind of thing. And most of all, donuts. It's the way we cops keep sustained. We hid stashes of this stuff all around the city. I can tell you where to find one.
It's worth a shot. I quickly went back to Gotham to find a stash. After a bit of sneaking around, I reached the location where the policeman said it should be, but it had already been looted. Thwarted again. Wait, what's this? I found a map left behind. I inspected it and it led to a new stash. Hopefully no one had beaten me to it, but the map seemed untouched. That was a good sign. I followed the map. Ouch! What the? I was being pummeled by arrows from a mossy skeleton nearby. I was covered in them. I looked like a hedgehog with those arrows in me. This was not good. The arrows were poisonous. I would have to act fast. I attacked him with all my bad gusto. After a lot of back and forth, I managed to emerge victorious, despite my wounds. With the mossy skeleton out of the way, I found the nearby stash. Jackpot! It hadn't been raided, and there were all sorts of goodies inside. Potions, enchantments, a police badge, and, you guessed it, donuts. There's an inscription on this badge. It says, "He who wears this badge, so also wears great responsibility." I remembered the vow I had made after those thugs had hurt my parents, to do everything in my power to fight crime in Gotham City. I put the badge on. I'm powering up with righteous vengeance. The badge leveled me up, and it gave me more health. On days 16 to 19, I made my way back out of the city as my newer bat self. I saw a child on their own and tried to approach them to see if they were all right, but they ran away from me. I trailed behind the kid and saw them slip into a building. I walked up to the door of the building and saw the child with their mother. I stepped into the building and greeted them.
Mommy, I'm scared.
You don't need to fear me. I'm a friend. My name is Zozo.
Leave us alone. My son has already lost his father. We don't want any more trouble.
No, please don't do this.
I felt for this poor kid. I knew what it was like to lose a parent. I'm going to help protect this city and get rid of all these thugs. I promise. I will stop the Joker. As I said this, a couple of thugs appeared behind me. They started hitting me. But being this much bigger gave me a fighting chance. I beat them up until they went poof.
Wowee, you really are strong. You're going to be a hero for our city, aren't you, mister?
I don't know if I'm a hero, but I am vengeance. I am Knight. I am Batso.
I thought you said your name was Zozo.
Yeah, I was trying out a cool name. Never mind. With that, I disappeared into the night and left the city. On days 20 to 22, I fought off some zombies and skeletons on my way back to Wayne Manor. I fought them off with ease. I'm so much stronger now. That was a piece of cake. As I got closer to the manor, I found a cave with some iron. I mined some for later use. Can't have too much of that handy. Finally, I arrived back at the manor and got straight to work, adding some more armor to my suit and a strong iron sword. With this upgrade, I felt much more confident. I think I can take on those earthy monsters that guarded the camera. Once night had fallen, I snuck back to the city and down the different alleyways to where the camera was miraculously still laying on the ground.
And the monster was still there too. He lunged at me, and I drew my iron sword. I sliced away at him. It was really difficult to keep my health up. Each hit really dealt a blow. He was not holding back, but neither was I. My armor, although not quite finished, held its own too, and thanks to that, I started chipping away at his health. I was coming out on top. With a final blow, he crumbled before me, and to dust he shall return.
I recovered the camera and inspected it to see if it was damaged.
As I flipped through the pictures, I saw there were videos too. It looked like Vicky had been chased by a group of henchmen. She managed to lose them before taking a final picture.
Wait, the last photo taken on here, that thug, could it be the one that hurt my parents? My head was reeling. On days 23 to 26, I returned to the manor and gave the camera back to Vicky.
You got it back. I can't thank you enough. You really do have a superpower. You never give up.
That's a pretty cool catchphrase. I might have to take that one off your hands. Now that you have the camera, does this mean you'll be going back to Gotham?
Actually, I was thinking it would be great to stick around here for a while. Is that all right? I've grown kind of used to the safety.
You can stay as long as you want.
Thanks. I'm going to take some photos out my window. It's got quite the view.
Cool. I'm going to finish my armor. It's almost complete. There was just one problem. I didn't have enough iron, so I went to a nearby cave and mined a bunch more iron. I took the iron back to the manor and finished up my armor. I made some more tools, too. Once I was done with those projects, I passed the time by upgrading the manor. With Vicky sticking around, I wanted her to feel more at home and things to be less run down. Besides, it would be great to restore Wayne Manor to its former glory.
On days 27 to 31, I decided to explore some more, but in the opposite direction of the city. I wandered into a desert. I eventually came across a camel.
Hey, I don't want any trouble, Mr. Bat Guy.
Me neither. I'm just passing by.
Phew. I just moved from Gotham and I get beat up a lot. Some of these humps are just swelling. Can you believe? That's why I'm out of here. But to be honest, life is still tough, you know? I'm a hipster camel. I'm not fit for desert life.
Just then, some husks popped up and started attacking us. The camel was spooked, but I won the brawl with ease.
I've got a place not far from here, and so far it's been safe from thugs. You're welcome to join me and my friends. There's plenty of space at the old manor.
The camel was relieved to get an invite back to the manor.
Since I was in the desert, I had to take advantage of all the sand everywhere. I mined some so later I could smelt it into glass. Once I had enough, I returned to the manor to fix up all the broken windows with the smelted sand.
Then I made a cozy barn for the camel. Hopefully this barn will help him stay camouflaged from the bad guys.
As I put the finishing touches on, Joey rushed in.
Hey kid, you're gonna wanna see this.
We walked outside and saw that in the sky there was a light high in the sky with a bat symbol in it coming from Gotham. It had to be a signal. Gotham needs us. On days 32 to 35, Joey and I hurried to Gotham. We saw that the signal was coming from the police station. It was under attack. Evil little penguins and Joker's minions were setting fire to the station and knocking giant holes in the walls. I should have known the Penguin and Joker were behind this. Joey and I drew our weapons and got down to business annihilating the cronies and flightless fiends. One by one, we picked them off. With the two of us fighting, we could deal more damage, but even that wasn't enough to stop the carnage going on all around us. We fought our way into the building. We have to find Gordon. Head for the elevator. We made it to the top floor to find a hurt Gordon surrounded by bad guys. You want to act crazy? Let's get crazy then. Hi-ya! These punks were no match for the Bat Dude. The name is still a work in progress. Anyways, back to fighting. I kicked their trash with no mercy. We rushed to Gordon's side. He was pretty badly wounded and was the lone survivor of the attack. We had to get him out of there before more henchmen came.
Wait. Ugh. Open that chest real quick before we go.
I followed Gordon's orders. Inside the chest was a Batman armored suit and a grappling hook upgrade. Holy bougie upgrades, Batman!
It was time to blow this burning popsicle stand. We helped Gordon escape out of the city and back to the manor. There, we fixed up a room for him so he could have a quick recovery. Joey also volunteered to stay and watch over him.
On days 36 to 39, we let Gordon rest, while I harvested food for the growing number of roommates.
Pardon me, sir.
I turned to see a nicely dressed English gentleman meekly standing before me.
My name is Alfred. I used to be a butler for the mansion some time ago. Now that the household appears to be up and running again, I wish to assist as a butler once again. I know a lot about this place, sir. For instance, did you know there's a bat cave under Wayne Manor?
A bat cave? Sounds cool. And of course you can be butler again. We definitely could use someone like you around here.
You might also like to know that there's a giant bat creature who has taken over down there. I tried to shoo him away, but, well, no such luck.
Alfred knew everything. I had him lead the way.
Through this hidden elevator, sir. Straight down. There's only one stop. You can't miss it.
Before going, I crafted a grappling hook. I entered the elevator, and it opened up to the Batcave. More like a massive tech lab with rock walls.
This is awesome! There was a deafening screech. I was grappling with what to do next. Wait, my grappling hook! This is like roping cattle. Yeehaw! I was able to cast the hook and take hits at the bat, while also blocking his attacks. We brawled for a while, but I got the last hit. Batcave was safe at last. I heard slow clapping. Alfred was entering the cave. He showed me around the Batcave, including a weapon stash, and how to use the high-tech computer.
We can use the computer to find the source of Joker's gas.
I think we know where his gas is coming from. Am I right, Alfred?
Potty humor is low-hanging fruit, sir. I will work on the findings for the gas, but it will take a while.
Great, I'll grab some weapons out of the stash. I equipped myself with a gnarly hippogriff talon sword, an extra grappling hook, a C4 remote-controlled detonator, and some smoke bombs.
There was also a nice Batman suit in the chest. It was slightly better than iron, but worse than diamond.
This place had it all. On days 40 to 43, we headed back upstairs to the main floors. I spiffed up the manor and then fixed up a room for Alfred. He was very pleased and promptly took a nap on his sofa. While Alfred snored, I moved on to the dining room to do some renovations in there as well. Home is where the Batcave is. To my surprise, the little kid from Gotham and his mother were walking up to the manor.
I was hoping I'd find you here, though. Gotham has gotten even worse. We can't stay there anymore.
Stay here then. We will look after you two.
Can some other children seek refuge here too?
Bring them all.
I immediately got to work upgrading the manor to accommodate all the new arrivals. While I was working, the camel came up to me.
So, I was like totes eavesdropping and heard you guys talking about Joker and some crazy evil gas ploy. I totally saw a sus factory out in the desert that was serving up massive Joker vibes. Like, no joke.
I thanked him for his awesome hot lead. I knew where I needed to go. To the desert to locate that sus factory. On days 44 to 49, I was traveling alone in the desert when I heard a vehicle approaching. It was a mean-looking, dark purple roadster, and it was heading right for me. This could only be one person.
My! What do we have here? It's our little Batsy friend who is ruining all of our fun. Hee.
Joker.
That's my name. Please wear it out. And don't be such a party pooper. Clowns just want to have fun, you know. I see where you're headed, but I'm afraid you're too late. Hee. I already have all the gas I need.
The only gas you'll be releasing is from the prison burritos when I'm done with you.
Oh, is that so? Tell me, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? 'Cause I have.
Joker started talking to someone I couldn't see.
Chester, where's your manners? Aren't you going to offer our bat friend here a snack? I was thinking a knuckle sandwich.
Out jumped a creepy clown golem, and Joker sped away, laughing maniacally. Chester was big and scary, but he was just one dumb thug. How hard could it be? Well, I was about to learn. Bring it on! On days 50 to 53, I was going toe-to-toe with this giant armed golem. His thick, long arms really packed a punch, and he had a lot of range. Gah, I need to get close so I can hit him where it hurts. This was my hardest fight yet, but I had some tricks up my sleeve. Hey Chester, I'm hooked on you. I whipped out my grappling hook, pulled him in range of my fancy sword, and slashed him up. And how do you like this? I threw a smoke bomb down to make the golem dizzy and confused. Then I darted around him, dealing him blow after blow. Eventually, the golem started to crack, Now was time. I acted quickly. He didn't even see it coming. 3, 2, 1, kablooey! The C4 exploded as the golem walked over it. He went soaring into the air. You play with the bat, you get the wings. I turned my attention to where the Joker had sped off to. I began to follow the tracks to the factory. Something Joker said was echoing in my ears.
Just another dance with the devil in the pale moonlight.
That's what the killer said. Could the Joker be the same person who hurt my parents on that horrible night so long ago? I kept heading towards the factory. I had to investigate. On days 54 to 57, I finally reached the desert factory. To no surprise, there was a guard out front. Excuse me, did you order a drink? The guard was confused.
No.
That's funny, because you look like you could use some punch. I knocked the guard down. He was out cold. One down, probably a million to go. I marched inside. Inside the factory were large machines producing Joker's clown gas, as well as, you guessed it, a bunch of cronies.
Clowns, attack the bat!
They sent the creepy clown creature after me. Clearly they had been transformed by the gas. Hey, no funny business now. The clowns were crazy, but I handled them. You know, for a bunch of clowns, you're really not that funny. When the henchmen saw I was defeating the clowns, they came at me themselves. Take it easy. I just want to shut down your entire operation. Chill out. This is the most hostile circus I've ever been to. I loved messing with them while I beat them silly. Eventually, there was only one henchman left.
I'm the ringmaster of this circus, and you just bought a ticket to die.
Ah, Mr. Tough Guy, huh? Let's see how tough you are against my little toys. I hit him with my extra damaged sword. Ooh, that's gonna leave a mark. I noticed the henchman dropped a crowbar and a gas mask. I hope this can protect me from the clown gas in the future. Now I need to search for a way to shut the factory down. After looking everywhere, I found a big lever with a sign. Do not press. Why do we even have this lever? Signed, the Joker. Yeah, I'm gonna press it. I pulled it and I heard all the machines shut down. Victory! On days 58 to 62, I made it back to the manor and thanked the camel for his information that led me to the factory. I saw that the orphans from Gotham had arrived. Welcome to Wayne Manor. Hope you feel at home here, kids. If you happen to find any weapons, don't play with them. With more kids around, there were more mouths to feed. I needed to expand the farm. I'll be back. Gotta run some errands. Did I just become a father to a bunch of kids? Too late to go back on it now. If I can best an iron golem, I can keep a horde of children fed. I found some seeds for planting, then tracked down some animals. Here, piggy, you're coming home with Papa. I lured the pigs back to the corrals so we could have some more meat. I planted the seeds so they could start growing. With that out of the way, I decided I wanted to find some diamond so I could really have the edge when fighting Joker and his gang. If that wasn't enough, once I got back to the manor for mining diamonds, I could tell the kids were a little restless. After the horrors the kids of Gotham had seen, they could use a safe and fun place to play. I decided to build them a playroom. Yeah, this is pretty good. I think they'll like it. Better than the dirty Gotham streets anyway. That was enough building for the day. I was pooped, so I went to sleep. On days 63 to 66, I was sleeping in bed when Alfred came and woke me up. You scared the living bats out of me, Alfred. What do you want? He came to inform me he had located one of Joker's caches of gas in the Gotham sewers. Good work, Alfred. But next time, try knocking. I could have been sleeping in just my utility belt. It looked like it's time for another trip into the city. Alfred walked me through where to find the gas. I prepared my armor and weapons and waited for nightfall. Then I headed to Gotham. I found an entrance to the sewers and jumped in. I snuck through the sewer, trying to remember the instructions Alfred gave me, but I started to get confused about where I was once I was down there. Eventually, I came across a sewer rat. Rats! Guess I gotta take out this aggressive rodent. I drew my sword.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I'm not gonna attack you. I'm not like that anymore. I'm all about peace and love now.
That's great news. I'm looking for a certain place in the sewers, but I'm getting a bit lost.
Let me guess. You're hunting for Joker's container he's stuck down here, aren't you? If so, I know where it is.
You do? Where is it?
I'll tell you, but I'm gonna need a favor first. You seem like you could help me with my monster problem. It's been terrorizing the rat community down here. What do you say? You down for vanquishing a foe?
I agreed to the challenge and followed him deeper in. On days 67 to 70, the rat and I reached an area with a large pool of sewer water.
I don't see a monster.
Just wait.
After some time, I saw something rising to the surface, and out emerged a giant crocodile. The rat scurried away with a squeak. I would too if I was his size, but I was big and strong enough to take him on. Hey Croc, let's rock. It crawled right at me, ready to make me his midnight snack. I drew my sword and swatted away. It was strong enough to cut through his scales. I jumped and dodged its great big snout full of teeth until splash, I fell in the water. The croc is faster in water. Better hurry and get out. Grappling hook, go! I whizzed out of the water and was able to deal a blow from above. I let him have it. He was super strong and got a few good hits at me, but he was no match for Zobat. I got the last hit and he was finished. See you later, alligator.
That was actually a crocodile. But at any rate, I knew you were skilled enough to handle him. Thanks. My rat community can go back to living happy lives. Now, let me make good on my end of the bargain.
The rat led me to where Joker's clown gas was. He couldn't get too close as it was already emitting clownish gases. Luckily, I still had the mask from the factory. I put it on and knocked the tank to bits. The gas was destroyed. Getting rid of that gas has me feeling relieved. On days 71 to 74, I trudged my way out of the smelly sewers, but it wasn't the stinkiest situation I'd been in. To see more on that, check out my other adventures by searching Zozo. I climbed out of the sewer and saw Joker sitting inside a cauldron. He jumped out when he saw me.
Well. Looks like you've been busy. Find what you're looking for, Betsy?
Just visiting my rat friends in the sewers.
You're making house calls to sewer rats when I'll soon be releasing my clown gas all over the world? You're the worst Batman I've ever tormented. It's probably why you were orphaned. You aren't very good at being a hero.
My blood boiled. How would you know anything about that? Is this because you're the evil thug that took my parents' lives? I drew my weapon and lunged at him. Joker dodged and grabbed a golf club. He swung it at me and hit me hard in the head. Ouch! He was so much stronger than I expected. Uh-oh. Joker pulled out a bomb and threw it at me. Kaboom! Then he somehow shot poisonous gas out of his hand. I quickly put on my gas mask. Nice try, Joker, but I'm immune to your poisonous gas.
Are you immune to plasma guns?
We both knew the answer to that. I threw a smoke bomb and took the opportunity to escape.
Where did you go, Betty? We aren't done playing. Don't tell me you've run away. Oh, you spineless rodent! Come back and take your beating! I wasn't finished blowing you up! Ugh!
Joker began throwing a fit. He shot his plasma gun and tossed bombs all around him. One bomb landed a little too close to him and blew him backward. I silently slipped away out of the city. On days 75 to 78, I got back to the manor and looked out over my balcony. I looked worse for wear, but that was nothing to the way I felt on the inside. I felt so defeated. I barely escaped Joker with my life. At this rate, I had no chance at saving Gotham, but everyone was counting on me. I was in over my head. I decided to work on the one thing I knew I could help, the manor. I cleared out the cobwebs, sticks, and rocks in the upstairs room. Then I replaced the broken glass windows and rearranged the furniture. That looks much better. I went to the archery range and boxing ring. Getting these in working order would be good for training. I got them looking tight and was ready to call it a day. Oh wait, I need to finish the downstairs hallway. As I worked on the hallway, the boy I had met in the city came up to me.
Hiya, Mr. Zozo, sir. I wanted to thank you for letting us stay here and making the cool playroom. I've never felt this happy and safe in my whole life. Here, this is for you.
He handed me a dirty-looking friendship bracelet. As soon as I took it, I began to level up. This little kid's love was so pure and powerful that it literally gave me strength. This is exactly what I needed. Thanks, buddy. You're my hero. On days 79 through 84, I went off the grounds to try out my new strength. As I walked through the spruce forest, a mob of spiders came at me. And then a short time later, I came across a few Endermen. They were a piece of cake. How do you like me now? A woman dressed in an all-black catsuit came bounding up to me, seemingly out of nowhere.
Meow. Well, hello there, Bat Boy. What's a big guy like you doing in these parts?
What?
What's the matter? Cat's got your tongue?
Something like that.
You look like you're pretty fast. Care for a race to the other end of the forest?
You're on! We raced through the forest. I used my grappling hook to swing through the trees, while the Catwoman swiftly glided, jumped, and flipped through the air. She was fast, but so was I. We basically tied.
Nah, I won by a whisker.
She was one cool cat. After explaining the situation with Joker, I invited her to come to Wayne Manor and be on our team, but she wanted to remain neutral for now.
I didn't say I was a good kitty, but I'll do you one favor. I know where another stash of gas is. I'll destroy it for you.
She assured me she would take them out from a distance, as to not intake any of the fumes.
Here, take these. Consider these a reward for nearly beating me in a race.
Catwoman handed me a flashy new Sword of Fate and a stack of batarangs. Finally, a range weapon. Before I could thank her, Catwoman was out of sight, as quickly as she had come. On days 85 to 89, as I approached the manor, I saw that it was under attack by more penguins and thugs. Not again! I was even stronger this time though. They were messing with the wrong orphaned rich boy. I started annihilating them. I had pecked them off one by one. That's when Joey came running out to me.
Hey kid! Whoa, you're not a kid no more, are ya? Anyways, some of the penguins have run off with Vicky. They went that way.
I took off on foot to track them down. I eventually followed them to a snowy biome, and I could see their tracks were fresh. It wasn't much longer before I saw a group of penguins marching along with a distressed Vicky in tow. Without alerting them, I swung in silently and started to kick the penguins' tail feathers. Ice to finally catch up to you guys. They squawked and tried to fight back, but they were no match for my newly upgraded strength.
Brack!
There was one penguin left, and he was much bigger and tougher looking than the rest. Time to take out the mob boss. Ooh, this bird is not going down without a fight.
I'm a penguin, 'cause I bring the pain.
You're a pain in my rear, that's for sure. We began duking it out, flipper to sword. After we smacked each other around for a while, I finally got the last hit. Now you're a Gondwin. I went over to Vicky. You okay, Vicky?
I am now. Thank you. You're really getting good at this. Those smelly penguins were taking me to their lair as a trap, so you would come get me. They didn't expect you to catch up, waddling at their super slow speed. What a bunch of bird brains.
You head back to the manor. I'll go take care of the penguin, once and for all. On days 90 to 94, the penguin and his minions were waiting around the base.
For tuna's sake, where are they? They should have shown up with the bait by now. I worked hard on getting a Yeti here. I shouldn't have to keep waiting to have the Yeti tear the bat dude limb from limb. Gunter, tell me a joke while I wait.
I had stealthily perched on a high point above and decided to respond. What's black, white, and red all over?
A newspaper.
No, it's you, after being thrown to that Yeti you have in that cage.
Gunter, that was uncalled for and highly unprofessional. Bat dude.
I had gotten the jump on Penguin, and boy was he surprised. I soared down from the ledge and began to fight. It was me against an entire den of penguins. Maybe I was crazy, or maybe I was Batman.
Penguins, attack!
They charged at me, and I began taking blows and dealing hits. The fight was bonkers, so many feathers flying around, but I was knocking the penguins out pretty good. It was then that I saw some ice fly past me. Penguin had an ice gun. He hit me a couple times with it, and I was trapped in ice. With me unable to move, the penguins were able to hit me all they wanted. I'm gonna need a good icebreaker for this crowd. On days 95 to 97, I continued tearing it up in Penguin's lair. I had gotten frozen a couple times, but I had my batarangs now. I dealt trouble right back at Penguin. Eventually, I had defeated all the minions, now to deal with Penguin. I neared the Yeti cage and saw a switch next to it. I quickly pressed it. The Yeti came right for Penguin. His own plan backfired on him. Penguin was toast. The Yeti smashed his cold-blooded captor to bits. Vengeance is best served cold. I searched Penguin's base for anything of use. Would you look at that? A grappling hook rocket attachment. Okay, this was going to be fun. Woohoo! I searched some more, and although I didn't find any more cool weapons, I did find something of great importance. The map to the final cache of gas in the city! On day 98, I mined some diamonds on my way back to the manor. Once I arrived, Joey was excited to see I had made it back safe, and was impressed that I had defeated the penguin. He also wanted to tell me what he had been up to.
I have a little surprise for you. I've been collecting materials so you can make an enchanting area, and now I have everything you need for it. You can thank me later.
I took the materials down to my Batcave and set up my enchantment area. I crafted the rest of my diamond into an armor and a pickaxe, and then enchanted my weapons and armor with some basic protection. I then found Alfred to tell him about the map. Alfred, I've discovered the final location for the cache of gas with the help of this map.
That is a relief to hear, sir, as I have not been able to do it with the computer. I did, however, find some wings down in the Batcave. Here, try them on.
I took them outside, and with my new rocket attachment and wings, I could fly short distances. My bat skills were looking sharp. I bet the orphans would get a kick out of this. I better go show them. I found the orphans. They were playing and running around. They seemed at home here at Wayne Manor. I was happy to see that. I saw Commissioner Gordon and Joey nearby. How are your wounds healing up, Mr. Gordon?
I am healing up pretty good. I'll be back in the field in no time.
Looking out from over the balcony, I felt a very strong sense of pride in what we had done here. But now, it was time to go face the Joker. On day 99, I flew off my balcony and reached Gotham. With the map as my aid, I was able to locate the final stash of gas. I swiftly destroyed it. So long as Catwoman held up her end of the bargain, all of the gas should have been destroyed now. We'll see if Joker finds that funny. I flew into the air and soared around the city, looking for signs of Joker. At last, I found a crazy-looking mansion ahead, and instinctively knew that it had to be Joker's lair. I landed in front of the mansion and started fighting the couple of thugs out front. Then I was quickly overwhelmed by thugs running at me from every direction. Okay, maybe I was in over my head.
Oi! Get your dirty little clown hands off our friend!
I looked and saw Joey walking towards me with a big group of his police buddies. I'd never been so relieved. His squad started taking on the thugs, which allowed me and Joey to go inside and confront the Joker. I'm glad I have you by my side, Joey. Now let's make Joker pay for what he's done to the city.
Gladly.
On day 100, we entered Joker's basement, which revealed a funky circular room. Joker was waiting for us.
It's about time. I was growing bored waiting for you. You going to do the whole thing where you try and stop me? And then I tie you up and make you watch the world descend into madness?
I suddenly remembered the face of my parents' killer. You were the one who killed my parents.
Oh, trust me. I wish I could take credit for that. I'd have to be an old man by now to be the one who killed them. Are you saying I look old or something? Rude much? Evil existed in this city before I got here. Maybe you didn't notice because you were too busy being a spoiled rich boy in your fancy mansion. And evil will continue to be here long after I'm gone. Hee hee.
Goodwill also exists. Before, now, and forever. I will do everything I can to fight the evil I find in the city while I'm still here. You can bet on that.
Oh, I hope so. It makes it so much more fun. Like a game of cat and mouse. You're the mouse, by the way. And you took too long to figure out how to stop me, little mouse. 100 days is up. It's like Christmas Day.
Technically, I don't think you can count day 1, so it's only been 99 days.
No, day 1 definitely counted. It's 100 days.
99.
100.
99.
100! It's my plan, and I decide. I'm pushing the button.
Joker slammed his hand down on the button to release the gas. Huh, that's weird. I don't hear any reactions to the gas. Must be because I destroyed all the gas before I came here. My bad. He pushed another button, and this time, some poisonous gas came rising from the vents. I was trapped in the gas. But again, I just quickly threw on my mask. Any effects it would have had dissipated. Face it, Joker, it's over. You lost.
Oh, it's far from over, Batsy.
Joker pulled a lever on the wall. This caused the pipe doors to open, and a mixture of Smilex liquid and gas came pouring out. Joker stepped into the ooze and gas. He really was mad. Joker started to transform before our very eyes. He was morphing into a giant, super Joker monster.
You know, I think it's time to play Whack-A-Bat.
Joker swung his golf club, bludgeoning me. I used my enchanted batarangs, grappling hook, sword, and C4 explosions to fight the Joker. Joker used his plasma gun, golf club, gas attack, and occasionally some bombs. It was a battle royale. Well, more like a battle carnival. I looked up and noticed a giant chandelier was above us, barely holding on. At the right moment, I threw a batarang at it. It dropped and crushed Joker. He gave a weak laugh
and then drew his last breath. Joker was dead. His reign of terror was over. Joker was gone, but as he said, evil still remained. So here I wait in the night to help the innocent and reap vengeance upon thugs of the city. A bat symbol shined across the sky. That's my cue. Gotham needs me.
On day 1, I spawned in as Iron Man. And look, I'm not a baby. I'm all powered up. I flew around firing lasers. This was really cool. These zombies have met their match. Time to say goodbye. I blasted the zombies out of the way. They were no match for the might of Iron Man. Once they were all destroyed, I was floating over the forest, scanning the area. Suddenly, something hit me out of nowhere. What was that? I didn't see who it was, but I heard a voice.
Say goodbye to your power.
I had hit the ground, but managed to survive. But look, now I only have 5 hearts. I had to hurry and leave the area though. Whoever that was could come back. Later, as I was escaping through the forest, a group of zombies came running up to me. I know how to handle these guys, but that was when I had my suit and powers. I didn't stand a chance now. I had no choice but to run away. I can't believe someone caught me off guard. They better watch out, because I'll stop at nothing to get my power back. But that was another day, so I settled in for the night. On day 2, I woke up all alone, still feeling weak without my powers. I had to figure out who was out to get me. I've got quite the mission ahead of me. I'm going to be building and making all kinds of really cool things. But before I can do that, I need to start with the basics. I went outside and got right to work punching trees. With the wood I had collected, I then made a crafting table. Using the crafting table and my leftover wood, I made myself some wooden tools, including a sword. Time to find some lunch. I went outside and soon came across a rabbit. That's going to have to do for now. I chased it down and got its meat. I might be trapped in the wilderness with no powers, but that doesn't mean I have to eat raw meat. As I took a look around, I soon came across a village. In the middle of the village was a campfire. Let's get cooking. I laid down my rabbit meat and let it sizzle. Soon, I had some cooked meat. I took a bite and was feeling much better. Suddenly, I realized what kind of village it was. It was a pillager village. Uh-oh, time to run. Pillagers chased me, but I managed to get away without losing my life. Later that evening, I took the simple supplies I had collected to start making myself a house to stay in. If those pillagers found me, at least I would have some walls to protect me. Soon, the hut was complete, and I settled in for the night. On day 3, I awoke to a knock on the door. Who could that be? I opened the door and saw it was Captain America. Or well, I guess it was just Steve Rogers. He wasn't looking so good. Steve, what's wrong? You're not looking like your normal fit self.
I was worried something had happened to you. I see now I was right. Your friend Ironmonger is to blame for this. I was minding my own business when he suddenly came out of nowhere. I don't know how he did it, but he managed to take away all of my powers. We might not be strong enough to help him right now, but we need to hurry and warn the others he's coming for him.
That's a good point. Let's stick together while we figure this out. Steve agreed, and so we figured it would be good to start building a proper base. We did some scouting around and soon found a nice cliffside that would work perfect. I didn't have my powers, but I could still get shipments of stuff sent to me. After a bit, an express delivery with all the supplies we'd need showed up, and we got to work. Building a house on a cliff like this reminded me of my mansion in Malibu. It wasn't going to be quite like that, but I was hoping to eventually make something just as impressive. Soon, the beginning of our base was complete. Thanks for your help, Pete. We'll let you know if anything else comes up. On days 4 to 5, Steve came over to talk. He wanted to know if I knew where any other superheroes were. Sorry, buddy, I don't. I really wish I did, though.
Well, you're a pretty smart guy, right? Is there something you could invent?
I thought it was a good question, but nothing came to mind. I stared at my empty crafting table when suddenly I had an idea. Oh wait, maybe that could work. I headed out to the caves to gather the materials I would need. If I could just get everything I would need, this special item would be the perfect solution to our problem. By the time I had made it into the deepest part of the cave, I had already managed to make myself some iron gear. It was about to come in handy as I was suddenly attacked by a bunch of magma cubes. Alright, boxheads, you're just what I was looking for. I swung my sword and managed to take a few of them out. As they disappeared, they dropped some charged coal. Once the threat was taken care of, I also found some nearby palladium, which I happily mined up. Alright, that's everything I'm going to need. Let's make this special item. I soon arrived back at the house and got right to it, smelting down the palladium into ingots. I also needed a compass, which Steve gave to me. At long last, the final pieces were starting to come together. I went to the crafting table and used the palladium, charged coal, and compass to make my special item, a superhero radar. Sure hope this works. Steve and I headed into another room, and I set the radar down in the center. I placed a lever on the wall and flipped it. The radar started to make a sound, and a purple line came out of it. That line is pointing us to a nearby superhero. Now we can help them. On day 6 to 8, I checked the radar again to get a clear direction of where to go. I told Steve to hang back at the base and keep an eye on the radar, just in case anyone else popped up on it. Let's go see who it's gonna be. I left the base and ran off in the direction the radar had indicated. Hopefully I could get to them in time. After a bit of traveling, I soon reached a village, but it looked like the place was abandoned. Hello, is there anyone here?
Thought it was you stomping around.
Black Widow had come out of nowhere. Natasha, I can't believe I found you. There's no time to explain, but I need you to come with me.
Listen, I don't trust anyone that much, even you. You're gonna have to give me some kind of explanation.
Okay, Steve is back at my base, and you see neither of us have our powers anymore, so we've got to hurry to get out of here, or the same will happen to you.
Don't have your powers? Who or what did that to you?
Ironmonger! It was an answer to her question, but also an exclamation. He had popped up out of nowhere. Black Widow had sprung into action, trying to fight him off. I was still too weak though, and had to run away. Hang in there, Natasha. They continued to fight, but it was no use. Ironmonger was too quick.
quick and managed to hit her with his special gun. He had taken away all of her special abilities.
Huh. I don't know what you two are up to, but knock it off. Go live normal lives like the ordinary people you are.
Before he could do us any more harm, we ran away. I couldn't believe he was able to do it again. On days 9 to 10, Black Widow and I arrived back at the base. We met up with Steve.
Natasha, it's good to see you. Wait, did something happen?
It was Ironmonger. I had gotten there in time, but he showed up and was able to steal her power.
Oh no, did you see where he went?
No, we had to get out of there. I hate this feeling. I've never felt so useless.
It's okay. Keep your head on straight.
I need some time to clear my head. I decided to get to work, building Natasha her own place to stay at the base. It was good to have a project to keep my mind busy. I couldn't believe I was beaten by my own friend. Soon, Natasha's room was complete. On days 11 to 12, I went to check the machine and saw there was a new signal, but this time it was different.
What is it? What does it mean?
Not 100% sure. It's a new invention that even I don't understand completely.
Well, if it's pointing to a friendly, it's worth a shot trying to save him.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, Cap. What good are we as rescuers if we can't really rescue someone? Ironmonger is just going to show up again.
You don't know that. And come on, you know there's more to this than just being the strongest.
That's certainly something coming from you. I'll see what I can find. I left the base and headed in the direction the radar was pointing. As I looked around, I felt like I wasn't seeing anything. That's when I realized I was back at the place I'd crashed on day 1. Suddenly, I noticed something nearby on the ground. I picked it up. Jarvis, is that you? What are you doing out here, buddy?
Hello, sir. I'm delighted to see you have found me.
So am I. How are you?
I am here, but I am damaged. I am sorry for the loss you have suffered.
So am I, buddy. But hey, do you think you can help? You've got all that information from my suit stored in your memory, don't you?
I do, or rather I believe I do. My memory banks have been damaged, but it seems plausible they can be recovered. We will need to find the correct materials in order to recover it.
Sure, we can do that. I built a suit once, I can surely do it again. What's on that materials list of yours? Jarvis gave me the list of what I needed, and I headed off, right away. On days 13 to 15, I arrived at some caves, and headed on in to gather up the materials Jarvis had mentioned. First, I gathered up a bunch of iron, which was one of the main things I would need. Then I found some titanium, which was also going to come in handy. Alright, that should be everything I need from here. I then left the cave and found myself in a herd of cows. I took some of the cows out in order to get some leather. That was all the ingredients I was going to need. Time to get back to the base. On days 16 to 19, I made it back to the base and went into my garage. It was crafting time. I put the iron in the furnace and started smelting iron ingots. Then it was titanium's turn, which started smelting into titanium ingots. While the ores were smelting, I then opened a nearby chest and grabbed some glass I had. Then at the crafting table, I added the glass to some iron and palladium to make myself a new arc reactor. At last, power! With my new palladium arc reactor, I could start to put together a new suit. I grabbed the ingots I needed out of the furnace, then used iron, titanium, leather, and the arc reactor to make myself a chest plate. Oh yeah, here we go. With the chest plate finished, I then used the rest of my materials and made the leggings, boots, and of course, the helmet. This isn't the best suit I've ever made. In fact, it's just as good as the first one I built in a cave in the desert, but it'll be better than having nothing.
Hey, what have we got here?
Steve and Natasha had walked into the garage.
You built a new suit. It's gonna be so good for you. How did you pull it off?
It was with the help of Jarvis. I found him at the crash site. His memory is damaged, but he remembered enough to help me build the suit.
Think that's a good idea?
Do you think it's not?
No, it's great. It's just that you said Jarvis was damaged. I'd hate to see something go wrong.
I assured him that Jarvis was working well enough to help me make the suits again without putting any of us in danger. That seemed like an excuse though. Steve was probably just jealous I was getting my powers back and he wasn't. Before I could say anything else though, Natasha mentioned that she and Steve had gotten more food and stored it in the kitchen. All that crafting had made me hungry. I went over there to cook up some steak. This is going to be much better than wild rabbit, that's for sure. When the steak was ready, I scarfed it down. Delicious! I then went and started to make some more upgrades to the base. I was a man of luxury, so I decided the house needed a swimming pool. I picked a good spot and got the thing installed. All this building has given me an idea for one more big project. I headed out and got to work building a statue. These were dark times, and there was always one thing that could be a light in the darkness. Let me know what you think I'm building. Soon, the first part was complete. On days 20 to 22, I heard a notification go off on the radar, telling me another superhero had been found. I went and told Steve and Natasha the good news. They both wanted to come with to find who it was, but I told them it might be good for just me to go, given that I was the only one who had regained any of my power. As I put my suit on, I saw my health increase to 8 hearts. I was also stronger and had a flamethrower attack. It was time to help our fellow superhero. As I got closer to the place the radar was pointing me to, I saw a large tower in the middle of the forest. I knew just who I would find inside. As I reached the top, I could see Dr. Strange was there. Steven, be on your guard. Ironmonger is running around stealing everyone's power.
What?
He immediately got ready to fight. It was just in time too, as Ironmonger came flying over, firing down on us.
The good doctor. I think you've got just what I'm looking for.
Dr. Dr. Strange was ready though, and he started to put up a good fight. Ironmonger was going to have a much harder fight this time. I may have spoke too soon though, as Ironmonger managed to land a hard hit, knocking out Dr. Strange. Ironmonger lifted his weapon and started draining Dr. Strange's power. I had to do something. Oh no you don't. Even though I wasn't super strong, I charged in and managed to stop Ironmonger from taking all the power. Problem was, he was now focused on me. Dr. Strange was back in the fight though, and together we put up a good fight. In the end, we managed to hurt Ironmonger enough that he backed down.
This isn't the last you've seen of me.
He flew off. Steven, are you okay?
I still have some of my powers, but I'm definitely weaker than before. I need to go rest.
Dr. Strange opened a portal and walked through it. Well, that was a quick exit, but at least we could stop him from losing everything. I better get back to the base and see who else we can help.
On days 23 to 26, I was on my way back to the base when Jarvis piped up with some helpful information.
Sir, my sensors are indicating a lot of silver nearby. I think that could help.
Jarvis then told me what direction to go, and I headed there right away. As I arrived at the location he was sending me to, I didn't see anything. Are you sure this is the right place? There doesn't seem to be anything here.
The silver may be beneath something, but I am 99% sure it is here.
Well, guess I better start breaking blocks. I started breaking things as I looked around and soon saw an entrance to a dungeon. What is this all about? As I went deeper into the dungeon, I ran into a bunch of piglins. You piggies better watch out. That's when I noticed that they had all kinds of material stored down here. I hope you guys don't mind if I use some of this stuff. As I fought my way through the gang of piglins, I noticed that they dropped silver ingots.
There, sir. The silver I was detecting.
I happily picked the silver up and continued to fight the piglins. There were hoglins around as well, and they were a tough challenge. But I was up for the fight and soon made it to the dungeon's boss, a piglin brute with armor. You look strong, but I'm stronger. It turned out I was right. The piglin brute was really strong after all. He knocked me back, but I stayed in the fight. He wasn't going to get the better of me. After a long fight, I finally took him out. He didn't drop anything. But look, a chest. I went over to the chest, which was filled with silver. This should be more than enough. I hurried back out of the cave. On days 27 to 31, I arrived back at my base. I met back up with the team to tell them the good news. Guys, I was able to find Dr. Strange, and together we were able to fight off Ironmonger. Dr. Strange was weakened, but he was able to keep his powers. Everyone was really excited to hear the good news and couldn't believe Ironmonger had shown up again. Everyone, that is, except Steve.
He kept his powers, huh? Well, good for him, I guess.
I didn't know why Steve wasn't excited like everyone else. He really must be jealous someone else got to keep their powers. I left the room and went to work on a new set of armor. With all the new silver I'd collected, I was going to be able to build an even better suit. I took my time making each set, and soon I had a full set of Iron Man Mark II armor. Oh yeah, now this is what I'm talking about. With my new suit on, I noticed I had more health than before. I still couldn't fly yet, but I could jump a little higher and felt stronger too. I showed it off to the gang, and everyone was really impressed. If I kept finding more materials, I would be back to full strength in no time. I had to find more materials. On days 32 to 35, I decided to see what else Jarvis could find for me. I'm thinking of adding some more weapons to the suit. What do you think it can handle?
Scans show it is not strong enough to handle your repulsor cannon, but there is something else that might work. We'll have to travel far away, but I believe it will be worth it.
Show me the way. Jarvis explained the way to go, and eventually we made it to an entirely new biome. All right, Jarvis, what direction?
Down, sir.
It looked like it was time to dig. I think I knew what he had in mind. I kept digging and digging and soon made it into a magma chamber. Let me guess, we need some lava.
No, sir. We're searching for a very specific mob. It should be here.
I started to explore. Could you tell me what I'm looking for? Just then, I almost ran into a monster. It was a mutant blaze. Yikes, thanks for the warning.
Sorry, sir, but my sensors aren't quite as sharp down here.
The mutant blaze's fire attacks were strong, but my new armor was doing its job. I was taking much less damage than I normally would have. I'm gonna put you out, Firehead. I kept on swinging, and at long last, defeated the blaze. As he disappeared, I saw he had dropped a blaze core.
The blaze core, that is just what we need, sir.
On days 36 to 39, I made it out of the hole and headed back towards the base. As I arrived back at the base, I went to the crafting area and got right to work on the new suit attachment. Using the blaze core, I was able to make myself a flamethrower. Oh yeah, I'm starting to heat up now. I called the others over and showed them my new toy.
Whoa, that new flamethrower is so hot right now.
Natasha was really excited about it, but Steve, less so. No surprise there, he was just jealous. On days 40 to 43, I heard the power detector going off again. It must have found another superhero. Maybe with my new gear, I can even defeat Ironmonger this time. I let the others know that I would head out by myself again. Until they could get their powers, it just didn't make sense to put them in harm's way. I would handle everything. I set off in search of the superhero, and soon found myself in a thick forest. Hello, is there anyone around here? I kept shouting and looking around, but couldn't find anyone. All I saw were a bunch of bats flying around.
Suddenly, they attacked me. What the? Get away from me! Using my new attacks, I managed to fight off the bats, but then I was attacked by some wolves. This forest is crazy. What's going on around here? The wolves snapped their teeth, then swung their claws, but I was able to keep them away and knock them out. I still don't see anyone, but it's starting to get late. I better build a shelter for the night. I soon found a nice clearing and got right to work building a shelter. After a bit, my camp was set up. Time to get some sleep. I'll keep looking in the morning. On days 44 to 49, I woke up in the middle of the night to a rumbling sound. What was that? I ran outside and saw there was a huge castle that had appeared out of nowhere. Well, nothing else to do but take a look. I ran into the castle and was suddenly attacked by a whole bunch of spooky mobs. There were bats and all kinds of skeleton creatures. I had to fight for my life. Back off, you undead creatures. You'll never take me alive. I kept fighting my way through the castle until finally I saw something different than the mobs. It was Blade. Blade, what are you doing here?
What are you doing here? I've tracked a vampire to this castle and I'm so close to finally beating him.
I've come to warn you. Ironmonger is going around stealing power from superheroes. You've got to get out of here.
Thanks for the warning, but I've come too far to quit. I don't see Ironmonger anywhere, so I think I have time to finish my mission.
Well, let me help. Together we can get it done even faster. We soon noticed a coffin and walked up to it to take a look. We opened it, but it was a trap.
Oh no, what is this? I can't move.
Me either. Jarvis, clear this gas out of my suit. Jarvis got right to work, but he wasn't quick enough. Ironmonger had shown up.
Huh, stay still. This won't hurt at all.
Ironmonger used a special item and was able to take away Blade's powers. Jarvis had just cleared the gas from my suit though, and I was ready to fight.
I thought I told you to keep out of this.
Ironmonger didn't stick around to fight me, but instead released the vampire before flying away. Without his powers, Blade was in for a real fight. Come on, Blade, I'll help you. Blade and I got to work swinging at the vampire. Even without his powers, Blade was a good fighter, getting lots of hits in. He wasn't good enough though, and the vampire was able to really hurt him. You'll pay for that! I started attacking him even more than before and could tell I was starting to win. When he was at his weakest, Blade jumped forward and knocked him out with a stake for good.
Thanks for your help. I couldn't have done this without you. Here, take this stake. You never know when it could come in handy.
Thanks. I'll be sure to keep it close. I'm sorry about your powers. How about you come back to my base with me and we can figure this out?
That sounds like just what I need right now.
On days 50 to 53, Blade and I returned to the base. Then we met up with Natasha and told her what had happened.
I'm sorry to hear it didn't work out this time. It sounds like he's getting smarter.
I'm sorry too. But hey, where's Steve?
Oh, he said he had some errands to run and left. He didn't tell me what those errands were.
That's odd. Just then, Steve came back to the base.
Sorry about that. I was just collecting some more materials to upgrade the base. I thought you could use some new materials for our new guest.
That was a fair point. He was right, too. Blade needed a place to stay. Using some of the materials Steve had gathered, I was able to put together a room for Blade. Steve had also mentioned wanting a training room, so I got to work on that. Just because they had lost their powers didn't mean they couldn't stay in shape. Soon, everything was complete. On days 54 to 57, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. I decided I needed to talk to Natasha in private. Hey, I wanted to ask, has Steve been acting strange to you?
Now that you mention it, he has. I haven't seen him do anything strange specifically, but he doesn't seem like he's been his normal self. I usually try and let people just do their own thing.
You see, the thing is, Ironmonger always seems to show up right around the same time I do. I'm not saying Steve is somehow tipping him off, but I want to be sure he's not involved.
Say no more. The next time you guys go, I'll keep an eye on him. That would be strange, but we'll feel better if we can rule it out.
Thanks, Nat. I appreciate it. I then reached out to Jarvis to help with the next stage of rigging up the superpower detector. If Steve was really tricking us, I needed to get the super detector to trick him. Jarvis said he knew what I needed to get, but there were some special items I needed to collect first. Let's get exploring. On days 58 to 62, Jarvis led me to a cave that was filled with spiders. I was pretty strong at this point, and these spiders were no match for me. I easily knocked them out of the way. Aha! There's the gold ore you wanted me to get. I quickly mined up all the gold I needed, then hurried back to the base. There, I crafted some special wiring out of gold and took it to the superpower detector. After I attached the new wiring, the detector started to go off. Everyone came running into the room. The detector found another super. Hang tight, guys. I'll go get them and help them out. Everyone agreed, and as I went to leave, I gave Natasha a nod to let her know the plan was on. She nodded back. I soon reached a mountaintop where the detector was pointing me to. Of course, no one was here, but I needed to put on a good show. Oh, hey, Thor. I can't believe you're here. Just then, Ironmonger popped out.
Aha! Huh?
I was ready for him and gave him a good hit.
What the? There's no Thor here. I can't believe I've been betrayed and tricked like this.
What do you mean betrayed? How did you know I would be here?
I've said too much.
Ironmonger flew away. Something was definitely going on. I hurried back to the base. As I arrived, I could see Natasha was waiting for me.
You're not gonna believe this.
What happened?
After you left, I followed Steve just like you asked. Once he had gotten far enough away from the base, I saw him pull out a communication device. I got close enough to hear who he was talking to. It was Ironmonger.
You're right, I can't believe this. We've got to confront him right away. On days 63 to 66, I headed into the base to find Steve. I soon found him.
Hey, you weren't gone for very long. Did you find anyone?
There was no one there, but You probably already knew that,
What do you mean? How could I have known that?
because you've been in contact with your friend, Ironmonger. Give it up, Steve. We know.
You don't know anything.
Just then, Steve started to transform. Suddenly, Steve was gone, and Mandarin was standing there. Mandarin, so it's been you all along. I should have known it was someone evil trying to trick us.
Well, you just aren't very smart, are you? You've been leading us as superheroes this entire time.
What do you want with us?
I've been absorbing all of the powers. Soon, you'll be unable to stop me. I was hoping I could wait for you to build another supersuit so I could steal its powers too, but no matter. You'd never stop me.
I leapt forward to attack him, but he was right. He was really strong. He knocked me out of the way and was able to escape. He wasn't fully powered up yet, but if he was this strong already, we were going to be in real trouble. On day 67 to 70, I went to talk to Natasha and Blade. I couldn't believe I had been tricked. I apologized to them for leading Mandarin right to them.
Don't worry about it. You were trying your best. Now that we know who we're really up against, we have a better chance of stopping him.
Thanks, Nat. I appreciate the support. And speaking of support, I appreciate all of you watching too. After this video, search for more Zozo. Z-O-Z-O.
Sir, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've managed to repair my memory banks and unlocked a new design for another part of the suit.
Oh, that's great news. What do we need to build it?
It looks like we'll be needing some diamonds, but I'm not detecting any on my scanner.
You need diamonds? I haven't seen any underground, but while I was tracking the vampire, I stayed in a village full of them. I'll tell you where to go.
Blade explained where the village was, and I set off to find it. I soon arrived and saw that Blade wasn't lying. There were diamonds everywhere here. The villagers had all kinds of diamond tools and armor. Hey there, nice armor. Do you guys have any extra diamonds you could spare?
I might have some, but I can't just give you them for free.
That's understandable. How much do they cost?
You know, we've had quite a bit of a problem here, and if you can solve that problem, I'll give you everything we can spare.
Sounds like it must be a pretty big problem then.
Yeah, there's a monster that has started living in our diamond mine, and we haven't been able to go in there for weeks. Take care of that monster for us, and we'll give you our spare diamonds.
Okay, I'll do it. Tell me where to go. On day 71 to 74, I arrived at the diamond mine, but the place looked abandoned. I guess the monster really cleared this place out. Better see what I can find. I went into the cave but didn't see any diamonds. I didn't see anything for that matter. The place was super dark. As I went deeper into the mine, I placed torches to help me see. The mine kept going deeper and deeper. I was starting to wonder if it would ever end. At long last, I reached what seemed to be the final room. There's nothing here. Maybe the monster left or something. Just then, I noticed that the torches I had placed along the wall were starting to go out. One by one, they broke, getting closer and closer to me. Suddenly, the vampire from before appeared. What? I thought we defeated you. The vampire smirked and then attacked. He was even stronger than before, and this time he had some tricks up his sleeve too. He burst into a ball of smoke, summoning a group of bats. What in the world? This is crazy! The vampire had disappeared. I had to defeat these bats. I ran around trying to cut down as many as I could. Suddenly, I felt a hit. The vampire had reappeared. Get out of here, Dracula! I still couldn't believe this guy was still around, but I guess it's true. Vampires can never really be defeated. That's when I remembered. The stake! The vampire was getting weak now, and it was time to finish him off. I grabbed my stake and hit him, finishing him off. He would be back eventually, but at least I could get my diamonds in the meantime. I hurried back into the village and met up with the villager. It's done! The monster is gone! Now let's see about those diamonds.
Amazing, you saved us. Here, you can have everything we have to spare.
The villager tossed out a single diamond. I gave him a look. I thought you said you were going to give me all the diamonds you have to spare.
I did. We only have one diamond to spare.
Jarvis piped up.
That should be all we need, sir.
Thanks. Well, here, you guys might need this. I tossed him the stake and headed off, back to the base. On day 75 to 78, I arrived back at the base. It was time to make what Jarvis had remembered. As I went to the crafting table, Jarvis told me what I needed to do to craft a new repulsor. It wasn't my full suit, but at least it was a stronger weapon than before. Just then, Natasha came into the room.
You've got your repulsor up and running? That's great.
Yeah, problem is, I don't know where to go to find Ironmonger or Mandarin.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. When I heard Steve, or I guess Mandarin, talking to Ironmonger, I thought I could hear some machines in the background.
Blade came into the room.
Machines? There's a factory not too far from here. Maybe he's hiding out in there.
It's worth a shot. I'm not sure where else to look. They all agreed, and I decided that before I would leave, I would go ahead and finish the statue. It took a lot of hard work to get it done, but I soon had it all finished in no time. So what do you guys think? Did you guess what it was correctly? On days 79 to 84, I soon arrived at the factory Blade had told me about. I'm not sure if this is right, but we'll find out. As I got closer, I was suddenly attacked by a group of zombies. If there were zombies around here, there was a good chance Ironmonger or Mandarin were around too. I managed to fight through the wave, but avoided using my repulsor. In case Ironmonger was watching, I didn't want him to know I had it. Soon, all of the zombies were defeated. On days 85 to 89, I entered into the base. That's when I saw Ironmonger standing amongst a bunch of zombies trapped in cases of liquid. What are you doing?
I knew you would show up here eventually. I'm doing what needs to be done. You superheroes think you can just do whatever you want. Zombies can be controlled. so I'm taking your powers and giving them to them. Then I will control all the powers on Earth.
Oh, I see. You don't want to stop superpowers. You just want to be in charge of them yourself. I won't let you get away with this.
Huh. You've been trying to stop me this entire time and have never beat me. Today, I will finish you for good.
We'll see about that. Ironmonger flew up in the air as a door opened, letting zombies into the room. There were a ton of them. Uh-oh, I better take care of these first. I ran around the room trying to take out as many zombies as I could. This was a tough fight with so many things going on at once. I had to defeat Ironmonger though. My friends were going to need all of their powers back. Where is Mandarin hiding?
You'll never find him because you'll never leave here.
Ironmonger and I were now fighting each other directly, and it was getting intense. He hadn't expected all of my upgrades though, and I was really hurting him.
How did you get so strong? I thought I took everything away from you.
A suit isn't a brain, and that's what's going to defeat you. I fired my repulsor at him and took him out for good. As he disappeared, I saw he had dropped some unique parts, which I picked up.
Sir, we can use these materials to remake your strongest suit.
Yes, now we just need to find Mandarin and get everyone's powers back. Let's do this. On days 90 to 94, I made it back to the base. I ran right over to Natasha and Blade to tell them the good news. I was able to defeat Ironmonger. The bad news is that he was trying to inject zombies with your powers.
That's horrible. It's a good thing you beat him, though.
Speaking of, any way to get our powers back?
Before I left, I saw he had some kind of machine that must be storing your powers. If you guys go there, you may be able to get them back.
Right on. Thanks for all of your help.
You've got it. Now I've got to get to work returning to my final form. I rushed over to the garage as the others set off for the factory. Using the materials Ironmonger had dropped, I got to work building my final Mark III version of my armor. After a lot of hard work, my armor was restored. Yes, it's going to feel so good to fly again. I ran up the stairs of the house and over to a balcony. Here we go. I jumped off and nothing happened. I landed in the water below. Jarvis, what's going on?
Sorry, sir, but while your suit has been restored, the flying capabilities still need some repairs.
Don't you think you could have told me that before I jumped off the cliff?
My apologies, sir.
It's okay, no harm done. Now where do we need to go? On days 95 to 97, Jarvis instructed me that we would be heading to the Nether, so I got to work building a Nether portal. I hadn't been able to get a diamond pickaxe, so I had to get creative. By using lava and some water, I managed to fashion a Nether portal together. It took a bit to get it all done, but soon I had my own Nether portal ready to go. All right, Jarvis, show me the way. I stepped into the portal and soon found myself in the Nether. This place always gives me the creeps. Let's make this quick. There was some quartz nearby, so I quickly ran over to it and mined it up. Luckily, that was all I needed, so with my pockets full, I jumped back into the portal. Back in the garage, I got right to work, crafting the flight module. It didn't take too long, and soon, it was all complete. I walked back towards the cliff, jumped off, and it worked. Yahoo! I'm a flying man once again. I took some time flying around, feeling good that I was finally powered up. Just then, Jarvis delivered some interesting news.
Sir, the superhero detector at the base is going off. The signals are off the charts.
I hurried back to the base and went into the detector room. The machine was going crazy. This signal is way too strong for it to be Natasha and Blade getting their powers back. Mandarin must be up to something. It was time to take him down. On day 98, I headed off in the direction the detector was pointing. Not too much later, I saw a giant base rising out of the ground. This has to be Mandarin's base. Just then, I was attacked by a bunch of zombies. Oh no, he must be trying to do the same thing Ironmonger was. I've got to get to him, and quick. I was so strong that I knocked the zombies out of the way, no problem. But there was still a lot of them. I also couldn't help but notice some of them were stronger than others. I had to hurry and get to the top. Out of the way, zombros. I kept firing my repulsor cannon until at long last, all of the zombies were defeated. I ran over to the stairs and started heading up to the top. As I got close, I passed a sign in the distance. Oh, subscribe. You should do that right now. And once this adventure is over, go look up some more of my other ones. Just search Zozo, Z-O-Z-O, to find them. On day 99, I reached the top of the tower and saw Mandarin floating in the sky. Wait, how are you floating?
Impressive, isn't it? You're too late. I've absorbed your friend's powers, and now you'll never be able to defeat me.
No, I don't believe it. I'm going to knock their powers out of you.
Bring it on, rich boy.
Mandarin started firing energy blasts at me, causing some big explosions. I returned fire, launching attacks with my repulsor cannon. I had to be careful though. Getting caught in those explosions really hurt.
The time of the superheroes is over, and the time of the supervillain has begun.
I managed to get a hit in with my repulsor, which stopped his monologue. But suddenly, a bunch of yellow smoke appeared, and Mandarin was gone. Where did he go?
Looking for me?
Mandarin reappeared, launching more energy blasts. He could teleport now. This wasn't looking good. I had started to fly around, but this was tough. I was hanging in there, but I didn't know how long I could last.
What's wrong? Am I too strong? Let me make this easier for you and finish this.
There was another plume of yellow smoke, and Mandarin copied himself. I was getting attacked from all sides. Oh no, he's too strong! I was taking out some of his clones, but there was no way I could keep this up. I finally took out the clones, but took a heavy hit. One more hit and it was all done for me. I removed my mask.
I'm going to enjoy this. You have been a thorn in my side for too long.
Suddenly, a portal opened, and all of my friends came running through, including Doctor Strange and Captain America.
Thought I ought to pay you back. This guy stole my face. That's America's face, not his.
We were able to get our powers back.
All thanks to you. Now let's return the favor.
Well, aren't we all just one big happy family? Well, you're too late. I'm not just as strong as all of you. I'm stronger.
Mandarin cloned himself again, and we all started to fight. It was on now. He was still strong, but there was no way he could take us all down, because even though we might be equal in power, we had something he didn't. Friendship.
No, it can't be. How can I be losing?
We had defeated all of his clones and surrounded him in the center of the platform. Well, thanks for playing. Tell Ironmonger we say hello.
No!
I blasted him with my repulsor, destroying him for good. My friends and I all gathered together. Steve, I was wondering what had happened to you. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, the doctor here came and found me. By the time we met up with the other two, they had just gotten their powers. We came here right away.
Just in time, too. Suddenly, another portal opened, and Hulk came through. Wait a second, this isn't where I was trying to go. Where's Abomination? Uh-oh, that Hulk sounds like me. Looks like me from another video somehow wound up here. Can you help him get back? After this video is over, go watch my Hulk video. On day 100, we had all arrived back at the base. The world was safe once again, and everyone had their powers. But we would stay vigilant and keep an eye out. You never know when trouble could strike again. On day 1, I spawned in the Sika Woods as an ICE SPIDERMAN. This is awesome! I didn't think the world's greatest web slinger could get any cooler, but hey, here I am. Things weren't all peachy though. For starters, I only had 10 hearts. And for seconds, a giant buff pigless came barging through the trees towards me.
Spider-Man, I found you.
Wait, what? I don't understand.
Don't play dumb with me, Spider-Man. I'm Pigless Polly, the biggest, meanest, smartest, and also most beautiful pigless in all the land. And you've been trying to mess with my plans for years. Don't think that turning your suit blue would confuse me. I'm a genius.
But I'm just Zozo playing Spider-Man. There's been some kind of mistake.
You will confound me not, puny spider. You better run, or my bubble brawler boys will beat you into a spidery pulp.
I could tell when I wasn't wanted, and this was one of those times. I turned and ran as quickly as I could. What did she mean about her bubble brawler boys? But life soon answered my question. A gang of bubble monsters emerged from the trees and started chasing me. Oh, there they are! Using my enhanced spider speed, I was able to escape and find a hiding place for the night. Always great to spawn into a world where someone already has a grudge against me. I need to figure this out before it's too late. On day 2, when I got the sense that the coast was cleared, I spider climbed out of my hiding spot and started to explore the woods a little more casually. This place is actually pretty beautiful. Maybe I should work on building a home around here. That's when one of the bubble monsters jumped out in front of me.
Oh, I'll build you a home, Spidey. 6 feet under. You've got a lot of nerve showing your face around here. Lady Polly wants us to destroy you on sight.
I still don't know what I did to upset your beast of a boss, but if you think this icy superhero won't be fighting back, you've just made your last mistake. We battled hand to hand. What the bubble monster didn't know was I had super spider strength, so my hits really packed a punch. After a few well-aimed strikes, I burst his bubble and moved on. Wow, beating that guy up really worked up an appetite. I need to find myself some nosh. Lucky for me, there were plenty of trees around. I collected the yummy pears from the leaves. Tasty! I knocked down the rest of the pear tree with my spider fists. With the spare wood, I made myself a wooden pickaxe. Then, I dug into the ground and collected enough stone to assemble a stone pickaxe, stone axe, and a stone sword. I've got that caveman swag now. With my new stone axe, I gathered more wood and built myself a little spider base with a room for me to spend the night indoors. Nice and cozy. Things are gonna get better and better. On day 3, I left my base and went out to explore the Jacaranda forest. It was a gorgeous sight to see. Even if there aren't any useful resources around here, it's worth it for the view. But just because the view is breathtaking didn't mean that everyone who lived there was chill. Case in point, a big angry mutated bee ran over to me.
What do you think you're doing here?
I'm walking here?
Are you making fun of me?
No, I don't even know who you are.
The name's Benson, Barry B. Benson, and I was just a normal bee until my human wife left me and I got turned into the superpowered mutant abomination.
I don't see how that's my problem.
Well, I gotta take it out on somebody, don't I?
Barry B. Benson attacked me with furious intensity, and even with my spider strength, I couldn't defeat his divorced mutant rage. Instead, I ran away as he fumed loudly in the background. He sounded like he should chill out or maybe get into jazz. On my way out of the Jacaranda forest, I ran into a sad-looking spider. Seeing as I myself was also a spider, I decided to go over and ask her if she was okay. Hey, I'm Zozo. Who are you? Is everything okay?
I'm Spider Queen, and sadly, things aren't okay.
Oh wow, Spider Queen? Does that mean you're the queen of all spiders?
No, I'm actually a one-spider tribute act to the band Queen. They're my favorite. But Pigless hates Queen, and she won't let me perform anymore.
That's horrible. Why not come back to my base? You can work on your act there.
That's amazing, Zozo. I want it all.
From day 4 to day 5, I returned to my little base in the Sika Woods with Spider Queen at my side. It's not much, but it's home.
It looks amazing to me, Zozo. Musicians don't make much money, and I'm super impressed by this. Do you want me to sleep on the floor?
What? No way! I'm gonna build you your own room. So that's exactly what I did. I gathered up enough wood to make Spider Queen her own special room where she could jam out all she liked.
Oh, Zozo, you're the best. I couldn't be happier.
Take a second to hide in there. I think I can hear another bubble monster coming towards us. Spider Queen hid away inside the room I'd made for her as I went out to battle the bubble monster.
Piglet sends her regards. We're gonna destroy you for her, one way or another, or she's gonna do it herself.
She's gonna need to destroy me herself, because there's no way you're up to the task, Bubble Boy. With my new stone sword, the bubble monster didn't stand a chance. He was soon defeated, and I returned to Spider Queen. It's okay, the bubble monster is gone now. You're safe.
We are the champions! Yay! Thank you for saving us, Zozo. Here, have one of my guitars. It plays music while you fight with it.
Spider Queen gave me the guitar, and I immediately equipped it. Whoa, this is cool as heck.
Oh yeah, we will rock you.
On day 6, I started the day with the wholesome act of sheep gathering, just in case I need the wool for a new Spidey suit. I wandered into the woods, and after a long time, emerged from them, seeing a road. Whoa, where am I? I followed the road and soon found myself in a cul-de-sac with some really cool and colorful houses nearby. Is that a flying orange? At the base of the flying orange, I saw some sheep wandering around, just what I was looking for. I started to round up the sheep when an orange boy came bounding out of the orange at me.
Get away from my sheep, you costume creep!
Whoa, hang on a second. I didn't want to hurt him, but he wouldn't listen to me.
Richie, what are you doing? Leave that guy alone.
Yeah, Richie, he didn't know those were your sheep.
Richie stopped chasing me as 3 more characters, one of which looked like a bear, came running over to me.
Max, do you know who this guy is? He looks like he might be dangerous.
Relax, Beast. I'm sure he's fine. Whoa, that suit is awesome. Did you invent that? I'm something of a scientist myself.
You guys are being so rude. What's your name? I'm Sky. This is Beast, Max, and Richie.
I'm Zozo, and yeah, this is my Spidey suit. One of the icy variety anyway. What are you guys doing out here? But before they could answer, I saw the last person I wanted to see. It was Pigless. She had found me, and she was wielding a huge, terrifying mace.
Like my new hardware, Spider-Man? This mace is one of the most powerful weapons out there. Perfect for squishing a nasty little bug like you.
Whoa, who is the little piggy?
Max, don't provoke her. Can't you see what she's holding?
Hey, who do you think you are talking to our new friend like that?
Oh, glad to know there's no hard feelings about the sheep. This is Pigless Polly. She kinda wants to destroy me.
Enough jibber-jabber. I'll squash all of you then.
Yeah, we'd like to see you try.
We're not scared of you.
Max threw down a mysterious item on the ground, and a bunch of armor appeared out of it. His friends suddenly put on armor that matched their colors, along with some matching swords.
Fine. No need to ruin a perfectly good neighborhood. But mark my words, Spidey. I'll find you again, and I'll be stronger than ever.
Pigless Polly turned and ran, leaving me alone with Max and his friends. Whoa, guys, thanks for the help. I could use you guys back at my base.
That sounds really fun, but I don't think we can make it. To answer your question from before about what we're doing here, I'm a YouTuber, and I document all the crazy adventures my friends and I go on.
Yeah, if you've got some days to spare, you should hang out with us.
You know, I could actually use a couple days to lay low after that encounter. Let's do it! From day 7 to day 8, well, actually, you'll just have to click the link in the description to watch what I did on days 7 and 8 with Max and his friends. Our adventure is just in English though, but it was super fun. And if you watch, be sure to leave a comment on his video to let him know I sent you. From day 9 to day 10, I was on my way back to my base with some sheep as a gift from Richie. When I arrived, Spider Queen came running over to talk to me.
I've been building, Zozo. Come, check it out.
She'd been building a lot, in fact. One of the first things I'd seen was the statue she'd been working on to inspire me. I couldn't tell what it was yet, but I was very excited to find out. Do you have any ideas? Let me know down in the comments. And the statue wasn't all. She'd also been working on some new buildings and upgrades for the base itself, including a storage room for all of our gear, a training room for practicing our skills, and a furnace for smelting ore into ingots. I'm so glad to have you here, Spider Queen.
And I'm grateful to have you here as a friend. You're the best friend I've ever had, Zozo.
Last thing I did for the day was set up a basic sheep pen and went to bed. From day 11 to day 12, Spider Queen and I relaxed while she practiced her music. I've been wondering, why do you think Pigless Polly believes I'm her Spider-Man? How can there even be more than one Spider-Man?
I've got a theory about that, actually. I think when you spawned, it created a dimensional rift that sent this universe's Spider-Man into your native dimension while bringing you here, like a big cross-dimensional swap.
Whoa, that's wild! How can you know all this when you're just a one-spider tribute band? No offense, of course.
I actually have a degree in trans-dimensional physics. It's more of a hobby thing, really. Being a Queen tribute act is my real ambition.
From day 13 to day 15, I returned to the beautiful Jacaranda Forest with a plan in mind. Defeat that dastardly Barry B. Benson, the mutated bee. He's gotta be around here somewhere. I mean, he's so aggro, I imagine he'll come looking for me. And I was right. After a little more searching, Barry the mutated bee ran in and prepared to attack me.
There you are! You've been due for a good thrashing, Zozo! I still haven't forgiven you for your trespasses against me earlier!
I still don't fully understand what I did, but if we've gotta fight, let's just get it over with and fight!
Finally, you're making some sense!
And so, our battle began! I battered him with my guitar until he submitted, but I decided against finishing him off because honestly, I felt sorry for him. Go talk to your ex-wife, Barry. You clearly have some pent-up anger issues, and you're not gonna solve them by beating up random strangers.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry for all the trouble, Zozo.
And with that, he left. But my act of kindness and mercy gave me some XP to level up, getting 30 hearts, getting bigger and stronger, and getting a web shooter, which I could use to shoot webs. About time. I wonder. Whoa! I can also ride the webs as they fly through the air. Awesome! At long last, some real Spider-Man powers. This is great! From day 16 to day 19, I decided that I couldn't battle every baddie with just a guitar, so I went down into the nearest mining cavern to find some iron ore. Spider-Man! Spider-Man wants his hands on some iron, man. And my catchy theme song worked, because I did manage to find a vein of iron ore and immediately started mining it. This seems like about enough to make the tools I want. Time to head back to my base. But on the way out of the mining cave, I saw a dangerous zombie spoiner standing in my way. But wait, this is a perfect opportunity to try out my new web shooter. I started throwing down cobwebs, trapping the zombie spoiner in place and slowing him down to a crawl. With him lodged in place, it was easy to finish him off with my rockin' guitar. Yeah, that power is gonna be really useful. After that, I went back to my base and smelted the ore in my furnace until I had just enough ingots to make a metal sword and a metal pickaxe, axe, and some boots. This has been an extremely successful excursion. From day 20 to day 22, I was having the most amazing dream when I was suddenly woken up by Spider Queen standing anxiously next to my bed.
Zozo, I'm sorry to wake you up, but something really scary is happening.
Oh no, what's that?
I was playing Bohemian Rhapsody a little too loudly, and I think Pigless heard me. Long story short, she's standing outside.
What?
Now I think we need to fight her.
It's too dangerous for you, Spider Queen. Stay in here. I'll go and face her alone. And that's exactly what I did. I got out of bed and ran out to battle Pigless, who was still wielding her terrifying mace.
There you are, Spider-Man. Not so tough with all your colorful friends no longer around. It's time for you to meet your doom.
I keep telling you, I'm not the Spider-Man you're looking for. I come from a different dimension. I'm the ICE SPIDERMAN.
Well, even if you aren't my Spider-Man, I'll still settle for getting to destroy a Spider-Man. And you'll do just fine.
If your mind's made up, then I guess we better fight! And we did, but this time, I had a way better chance. I threw down some cobwebs immediately, trapping Pigless in place before pulling out my iron sword and going to town. In the end, she broke free from the cobwebs, but she seemed startled.
You're stronger than I remember. I don't have time for this. We'll battle again soon, and next time, you won't be so lucky.
She fled after that, leaving me feeling stronger and more confident than ever. If I keep getting stronger, I think I can finally take her. From day 23 to day 26, I spent some time at my base, calmly collecting myself and spitting together a new addition to my spider suit. I used the wool from the sheep I got from Richie and some emu feathers that were laying on the ground to weave some outback leggings. With these, I could move faster and dodge out of the way of projectiles. Now I've really got the agility of a spider. It wouldn't be perfect. There was only about a 45% chance I'd be able to avoid oncoming attacks, but it was the edge I would need in my next battle with Pigless. And if you think this adventure is getting wild, then you should search for more videos and see more of my Minecraft challenges. Just type ZOZO into the search bar up above. From day 27 to day 31, while I was still hunkered down at the base in the Secret Woods, I noticed Spider Queen seemed to be struggling with her statue. What's wrong, Spider Queen?
Zozo, I just feel so under pressure. It's pushing down on me. I want to get the statue finished, but I'm missing a very key component.
Hey, it's okay. You've been doing great so far. Here, why don't I help you out? What's this component you need to add to your statue?
I just need some redstone blocks.
Say no more. I'll go and fetch some.
Thank you, Zozo.
I ventured off to track down large quantities of redstone, making my way towards the Twilight Valley. This place was a lot darker than the other areas I had visited. The shadows were the perfect cover for some bubble monsters to sneak up and ambush me.
There he is! Get him! Pigless's orders!
Hey, come on, guys. Surely there's a peaceful way around this. Pigless can't be paying you that much.
It's not always about the money, Spider-Man. It's about the Mets, baby. Let's go. Get a home run!
Jerry, quiet down. Sorry, he gets a little excited about baseball. Oh, hey, where'd he go?
Over here, Bubble Brain. I turned the shadows to my advantage and struck the bubble monsters in place with my cobweb attacks. They tried to swipe at me from the spots they were stuck to, but a few swinging smashes with my slammin' six strings and their bubbles were burst. And just my luck, nearby there was a large deposit of redstone ore, so I gathered it up for Spider Queen. From day 32 to day 35, I continued patrolling around the Twilight Valley for any more signs of trouble, along with any more useful resources I could bring back. And while I was wandering around, I overheard the sound of distressed wailing.
Help! Oh, won't someone help me? I'm far too important to need to ask for help.
Hey there, who are you?
Oh, what a rather humorous joke. Quite amusing, yes, imagine not knowing who I am. Why, you've cheered me up somewhat, small spidery peasant.
I wasn't kidding. I don't know who you are.
Don't know? How insulting. I am royalty. I am the king pig, pig-headed head of the pig-head monarchy.
Oh, my bad. Are you needing help with something?
Well, it's about time you offered. My benefactor, the rich mummy, has run afoul of a hairy troll. And since he provides me with a lion's share of his wealth, I'm distraught. He's not even written me into his will yet, so I won't get any of his gold if that troll smashes him.
You, want me to go save him? Yeah, I'm a superhero after all.
Oh, a hero of the common folk. How quaint. Yes, on you go, Spider Boy.
It's Spider-Man! ICE Spiderman! From day 36 to day 39, I searched the Twilight Valley for any signs of this rich mummy, and eventually came across my first sign of where he might be, a troll's mini base. I watched from a distance, and it looked like the hairy troll was guarding the front entrance. If I tried to just walk up, he could smash me to spider smithereens. So I had to think up a strategy. How was I going to get in there? I'd need to take the troll out, but attacking head-on was a bad idea. Sneaking around the back? It could work, but it might take too long, and the rich mummy might be doomed if the troll got hungry before I could reach him. Think, Zozo, think! You can do whatever a spider can. Oh, could I climb in? I tried on a nearby tree, but I couldn't stick to it. No climbing up walls for me, that stinks. I could ride my web shooter, but he will spot me immediately. That's not gonna work either. Maybe my best option was to look for another way in. From day 40 to day 43, I made my way around the outskirts of the troll's mini base, and lucky for me, there was a back entrance. Inside, I found the rich mummy trapped in a cage.
Who might you be?
Oh no, oh, not with him, are you? Oh, ghastly, you must be his torturer.
No, I'm ICE SPIDERMAN. I'm here to save you. Just keep it down. I need to clear the way ahead. Then I'll come back for you. I snuck through the base and spotted the hairy troll. He didn't see me coming, so I used the element of surprise while I had it. I spun my webs to catch him in place, but he was strong enough to tear himself free. It barely slowed him down. He swung his mace at me, and I was luckily able to dodge out of the way just in the nick of time, thanks to my Outback leggings. I retaliated by swinging my guitar at him, but the hairy troll had a high resistance to rock. Thinking quick, I used my webs again, not to get him stuck, but to blind him. It worked! I could get close enough to bash the hairy troll with my guitar and defeated him! With the troll out of the way, I went back to free the rich mummy and led him back to the king pig.
Ah, Reginald, so good to see you. Thank you for your assistance, Spider Peasant. You may leave my mighty presence now.
So much for grateful. From day 44 to day 49, I finally made my way back to base to deliver the redstone blocks that Spider Queen needed.
This is perfect. Exactly what I needed. Zozo, you make the rockin' world go round.
It was no problem, Spider Queen. Can't wait to see what you do with it. It was then that I took a look around the base. The whole place was in a real sorry state. I decided now that I had a moment to spare, I'd dedicate some time to cleaning up and improving the base with some defensive upgrades. I built a sturdy perimeter wall to stop any intruders from getting in. By the time I was done, Spider Queen had something to show me.
Ta-da! Open your eyes, look up to the sky, and see!
Wow, that's really something, Spider Queen.
Thanks, Zozo. It's not quite done, but it'll rock you when it's finished.
From day 50 to day 53, I awoke to the sound of a struggle. Spider Queen was in trouble.
Zozo, help! Help me! I want to break free! I've got to break free!
I rushed into action, but as soon as I stepped out of my room, I was greeted by a gang of bubble monsters.
Rise and shine, ICE SPIDERMAN.
I didn't order room service, guys.
It's on the house, no charge. Speaking of, boys, charge!
Outside, Piglet had arrived, and she was sending in hordes of her bubble minions to attack. I hadn't even had breakfast yet, and now I had to fend off monsters with all of my might. Good thing I got in my 8 hours last night.
We got the Spidey you're looking for, boss.
You idiots! That's the musician! I wanted the little brat in blue pajamas, not Leggy Mercury here!
I was still battling the bubble monsters. By the time I had finally burst every last one of them, I had gained enough XP to level up. Wow, I've heard some people start their day with a workout, but this is insane! I now had 50 hearts and a new ability, Ice Blast! I was quickly becoming the coolest superhero around. There was one problem, I'd lost my musical guest in the process. From day 54 to day 57, I decided my only option was to return to the pompous King Pig and see if he knew where I could find Pigless. King Pig, Pigless. I wonder if the two of them are related. Yeah, probably just a coincidence. A short journey later, and I was back in the Twilight Valley. All I had to do was listen out for the sounds of stolen moneybags, and sure enough, I found the monarch in front of his castle.
Oh, you're back. Spider something, wasn't it? Did one of my servants send for you?
No, I'm here to ask you some questions. And since you didn't even thank me for saving your friend, I'd say you at least owe me a little bit of your time.
My time is very valuable, like all the jewels and gemstones my servants brought me from far away. But I suppose I have a few moments to spare.
My friend was taken by Pigless. I need to know where she is.
Pigless? Pigless? Do not speak that name!
You know each other then?
She's a traitor to the crown, a deserter. She stormed out when she figured out she'd never be next in line to the throne. Gave her a real complex. She feels like she's better than everyone, but still not good enough if she can't rule.
Wait, so does that make her your sister? Or no, cousin? Royalty is confusing, and it seems like a lot of fuss over nothing.
Nothing? How dare you? We uphold a proud and noble tradition of theft. A tradition of tradition.
So where is Pigless now?
I don't keep in touch. She said some very hurtful things about me which weren't at all true. But last I heard, she resides in Red Rock Mountain, although the terrain is harsh, so you won't make it there in one piece with so little armor.
From day 58 to day 62, I decided to follow up on the one useful piece of advice the King Pig had to offer and set about crafting myself some tough new armor. I scoured the area until I found a cave that led to a mine tucked away deep underground, and in the mine was plenty of what I needed: diamonds! I managed to find quite a few, but not enough to make the armor I needed. Not wanting them to go to waste, I forged them into a mighty diamond sword for stronger attacks, and a matching pickaxe to make mining quicker and easier. I didn't have to wait long to test them out either, as it turned out the mine belonged to a skeleton jackal, who was none too happy about me mining his diamonds. But it didn't take more than a few swings of my shiny new blade to settle our differences. From day 63 to day 66, I decided, rather than rushing straight back into danger and venturing up the treacherous terrain of the Red Rock Mountain, I hiked back to base to catch up on some rest. That way, I could be ready and refreshed when I set off to save Spider Queen. But speaking of Spider Queen, when I returned to base, I was met with a saddening sight. Her statue left unfinished now that she'd been captured. I thought about completing it in her honor, but it felt too much like admitting defeat before I'd even tried to save her. So instead, I left it as it was. She could have the satisfaction of finishing her hard work once I'd gotten her back in one piece. Knowing her, she was probably looking forward to it. I settled in for the night, right in Spider Queen's bedroom. That way, I feel closer to her. Watch till the end of the video to see if we manage to save her. And why not click that subscribe button down below to stay tuned for future videos. From day 67 to day 70, I made my long journey towards Red Rock Mountain, scaling the dangerous Crimson Cliff Face and being careful to watch my step. One fall, and it could be all over. As I descended from the peaks, I spotted a path. I followed until I saw the looming structure that Pigless had made into her base, and the whole place was massive and absolutely crawling with her minions. While I was still scoping it out from a distance, I thought back to my mission to save the rich zombie from that hairy troll, and how I hadn't been able to enter through the front, but had better luck looking for a second way in. So I tried the same tactic again, heading around, scaling massive mountains, swinging from one hilltop to the other until I made it to the side of the base. I saw my entry point, an opening in the side. I aimed carefully and shot my web shooter to make my way in, and I landed right in the middle of a group of bubble monsters.
It's the spider! Get this sucker, boys!
Heck of a way to roll out the welcome wagon. You treat all your guests like this? I swung my diamond sword and instantly slashed the nearest two, taking care of the next with a well-timed ice blast. Another hit from my sword, and he was shattered to pieces, while the others were quickly stuck fast with my webs right where I could strike at them. From day 71 to day 74, I snuck around the inside of Red Rock Mountain Base, making sure to keep out of the path of Pigless's many minions. But there was one enemy I recognized.
Halt in the name of Pigless! Oh wait, it's you, Zozo!
Barry? Barry B. Benson?
Black and yellow, hello!
How are things with you and your wife?
Hard to say. We're still going through it. We're planning to go see a concert soon. She likes jazz.
That's good. So you're not gonna attack me?
Nah, you're good. I just need to think about some things.
It wasn't hard to see that his heart really wasn't all in on working for Pigless.
It's a good job. I mean, there's not a lot of coverage, no dental, stuff like that.
I'm gonna go.
Oh, sure. Listen, I shouldn't tell you this, but check the chest in the room up ahead. There's some handy stuff in there.
I went to investigate and found myself the proud owner of a full set of diamond armor. Whoa, Barry wasn't kidding. Now I can match the speed of a spider with the protection of diamonds. From day 75 to day 78, I explored a little more and found where Pigless had left Spider Queen trapped in a big cage. She'd clearly been singing to herself to keep her spirits up, but by now, she was just yelling in case any of the bubble monsters were passing by.
I just gotta get out of this prison cell. Someday I'm gonna be free. Oh, look, I want to break free. I've got to break free. Now? Please? Easy come, easy go. Will you let me go?
Now's good for you then?
Zozo! Oh, you're a sight for sore eyes. I've been so bored cooped up here. I want to get out and have fun. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike.
You have a bike? But you've got 8 legs.
I think it's a metaphor or something.
Well, I've got just the thing to break you out.
Gunpowder? Gelatine? Dynamite with a laser beam?
Close. It's a diamond sword. With a swing of the blade, I cracked open the lock and sent Spider Queen back to our base. She rushed off, and not a moment too soon, because Pigless had found me.
You! First you intrude on my dimension, then you intrude on my home. I'm going to squash you at long last, puny spider!
Pigless came at me, but I was able to freeze one of her feet in place, then web her hands to slow her down. I leaped close to swipe at her with my diamond sword, but just when I thought I had the upper hand, she knocked me back with a powerful hit. I decided to escape while I still could, and dashed out of the base. From day 79 to day 84, I was exhausted from the fighting, so the Spider Queen offered to give me a ride, which was really nice of her. We managed to make our way back to safety, but little did I realize that Pigless had had enough.
That little wretch! How dare he try to defy my right to rule! He and the rest of this overworld will soon see that they shouldn't have messed with Pigless!
With that, Pigless used a powerful potion to make herself even stronger. Now she'd be an even tougher fight when it came time for me to face off with her again. From day 85 to day 89, we arrived back at base, and my good friend Spider Queen, whose ride was surprisingly comfy, was super happy to be free from Pigless's cage.
Pigless thought she could stop me and spit in my eye. But we did it. We are the champions, my friend.
We sure are.
Look, I managed to swipe this from one of the guards at Pigless's base. I thought I could use it to break free, but instead, I was just screaming, "Let me out!" Anyway, I think you should have it. You're gonna take on the world someday.
Spider Queen handed me the upgrade. It was a fire aspect and sharpness 2 enchantment. I immediately went to apply it to my diamond sword to deal some extra damage. Now, I had the power of ice, fire, and spiders on my side. Once I was done improving my sword, I returned to find Spider Queen putting the final finishing touches on her statue.
Heyo, are you ready? Hey, are you ready for this? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? Then may I present to you my masterpiece. I call it Zohemian Rhapsody.
Zohemian?
Named after you, of course, Zozo. I can't keep living without you by my side.
I like it. Makes me feel ready to take on Pigless one last time.
Well, you better be careful. I saw she had a whole cabinet of potions to make her stronger. Her bubble monsters steal them from King Pig's cellar and bring them back to her.
Huh, maybe I can intercept them and take a potion for myself. That ought to level the playing field.
And that way, you'll keep on fighting to the end.
From day 90 to day 94, I headed back towards the Twilight Valley and followed a trail that the bubble monsters had left from the King Pig's palace to a small camp they had set up nearby. Just like Spider Queen had told me, they had a potion of power, but it must have been the last one left.
Yep, that's the last one left. Hey, boss, question. If Pigless had us stealing all these here potions, why doesn't she give each of us one? Then we'd all be a tougher army, and she could overthrow the King Pig.
We're not about that kind of talking. The potions are for Pigless.
I webbed the closest bubble monster in place, slashing the other with my newly enchanted fire aspect diamond sword. The heat popped them in an instant, and before the other two could get free, I cut them down too. I retrieved the last potion of power, but waited before I drank it. The King Pig's palace was only a short walk away, and maybe I could get one last favor from him. From day 95 to day 97, I walked right up to the King Pig's throne and showed him what I had recovered. You know what this is?
Why, that's an excellent vintage. One glass is worth the yearly wages of my entire staff. You'd better put that back in the cellar with the others before I have you executed.
There are no more others. Pigless had been sending her minions in to steal them from right under your nose.
Pigless? Something must be done about that treasonous traitor.
I'll take care of Pigless, but only if you let me keep this potion and be way nicer to your servants. In fact, stop hoarding all this fancy expensive stuff. Learn to share.
Share? What is that? I'm not familiar with this common folk slang.
You have a whole library here. Look it up in the dictionary. After a few moments of learning what sharing was, the King Pig returned.
Preposterous! If how do I pronounce it? Shared, I wouldn't have all my power and riches.
But that might not be such a bad thing, if even a fraction of your wealth might improve the lives of other people.
So if I, say for example, just gave you this netherite armor, then how would that improve anyone's life?
Well, with that, I could take down Pigless, which is also what you want, isn't it?
Yes, but confound it! What commoner wizardry is this? You've confused me. I need to go lie down. Here, this is yours, I think.
With that, the King Pig handed over an entire set of netherite armor. Now I had the most powerful protection against Pigless. On day 98, I returned to my base to make the final preparations I needed to ahead of my big battle with Pigless. I had my diamond sword at the ready, enchanted with a powerful fire aspect for added flaming damage. I had my netherite armor on, ready to defend me against oncoming damage. Plus, I had my ICE SPIDERMAN powers at the ready. I even tested out my ice blasts and cobwebs, and they were ready to go. Before leaving though, I stopped by Spider Queen's room to tell her how to get to Max's neighborhood. If I didn't make it back, she would need a safe place to live. Now there was just one question. What was going to happen next? If you think you know, then leave your answers in the comments. And while you're there, tell us what video you'd like to see next.
On day 99, I made my final journey to Red Rock Mountain and stopped just outside the entrance to Piglet's base. It was quiet, too quiet. All her minions seemed to have run off in fear. If they were that scared of her new, more powerful form, then I needed to be prepared. I drank the potion of power, and this upgraded me to my final form. I now had a full 100 hearts, and the last of my ICE SPIDERMAN powers were finally unlocked. I could climb walls. Ready for anything, I headed inside to find Piglet waiting for me. She was much bigger and stronger than before, and way more vicious.
I was meant to rule this overworld. It's my birthright, and I won't have you meddling in my destiny any longer.
Oh, I don't think so, Piglet. The battle was on. Piglet hurled a javelin at me, but thanks to my super spider agility and my outback leggings, I dodged right out of the way, then climbed up the nearby wall so I was out of her reach. From my vantage point, I fired ice blasts and cobwebs at her, trying to slow her down.
Get down from there!
She threw another javelin, and I went to get out of the way, but I timed it wrong and fell. I quickly picked myself up and got back into the fight. It was the toughest of battles, but Piglet seemed to be overexerting herself. I managed to keep dodging away, climbing the walls, and using my webs to slow her down, until finally I landed an ice blast.
This is too cold.
Don't worry, my sword has a fire aspect enchantment. It should help turn up the heat. With a mighty strike, I had done it! Piglet was defeated at last! On day 100, instead of returning to my base, I returned victorious to Max's neighborhood, where I was immediately greeted by Spider Queen, as well as Max and his friends.
Another one bites the dust. Great work, Zozo. I knew you were gonna be a big man someday.
Well, I couldn't have done it without you, Spider Queen.
Oh, you're too kind. You're the champion here, Zozo.
Spider Queen really livened the place up with her music, but we're glad to see you made it back in one piece.
Me too, and everyone should click the link in the description to check out the adventure we went on together. Then, much to my surprise, the King Pig also showed up.
Zozo, my boy, you didn't tell me that sharing also came with this delightful feeling. I don't really know what it's called, but seeing the smiles on my servants' faces gave me one of those, what are they called? Emotions?
You mean you feel happy?
That's the ticket, and I've been reading up too. Did you know that all the traditions of the pighead monarchy are centuries old? It seems so silly to still be upholding them.
So what did you do?
Oh, I gave my palace and all my riches to my servants. Except they aren't my servants anymore, just people. And so am I. Look at me, one of the people. Now, who is your charming eight-legged friend here?
Well, you might be a former King Pig, but she's Spider Queen.
And we will rock you.
On day 1, I spawned in as an ice spider, an arachnid as cold as the Arctic reaches. All 8 of my legs are here, but why am I so little? I'm only a baby spider. That's when I realized that I was trapped inside of a magic circle. An evil-looking necromancer stood on the outside, casting a terrible spell.
A spider of ice, it will suffice. So says me, Necromancer Bryce.
Lights swirled all around me, and the entire world shook. But when it stopped, I felt like I was able to move. Great! I better get out of here while I can. I tried to scurry away, but Bryce the Necromancer blocked my path.
Not so fast there, Ice Spider. Your part to play is done, so now I'll destroy you and complete the spell.
Hey, I have a name, you know. It's Zozo, and I don't like it when people say they're going to destroy me.
Oh, it's nothing personal. That magic spell I just cast is going to destroy the entire world 100 days from now.
What? The entire world? You do realize that doesn't make it better, right?
But it does make it destroyed. The ritual also says that I should sacrifice the ice spider used in the spell for best results.
Well, it's not going to be this ice spider. I'm leaving, and while I'm at it, I'm gonna find a way to counteract your spell. I bolted for it as fast as my 8 legs could carry. Instead of chasing after me, the necromancer Bryce just laughed wickedly to himself.
Easier said than done, my arachnid friend. The world's destruction is close at hand.
On day 2, I managed to get far enough away from the necromancer Bryce that I could take it easy. I looked around in wonder at the glowing ancient forest around me. I also noticed that I had 10 hearts and that my hunger gauge was lowering fast. It looks like running for my life from a destruction-happy evil necromancer really works up an appetite. I searched around until I found a tree that had apples in it for me to take. Then I ate the apples until my hunger meter was full again. Surviving all alone in this world as a baby spider isn't so bad. I'm really getting the hang of it. I wasn't alone for long though, as I saw a couple of skeleton vanguards appear out from between the trees.
There you are, Ice Spider. We shall get rid of you for our master, the necromancer Bryce.
He must really want to sacrifice me if he's sending skeletons to do his bidding. I tried to fend off the skeleton vanguards, but my spider bites didn't have much of an effect on creatures made of bone.
Give up, Spider. The world is doomed, and your sacrifice will seal its fate.
The mobs kept attacking, bringing me down to my last few hearts. I thought I was doomed. But then, an energy blast distracted the skeleton vanguards and made them run away. Out of nowhere, an illusioner appeared. I realized immediately that they must have been the one who cast the spell.
Follow me, little ice spider. I'll take you to my camp. We'll be safer there.
You saved my life, so I guess I can trust you. On day 3, the illusioner took me to his campsite and cast a protective illusion barrier around both of us so that the mobs wouldn't find us. You're pretty good at casting spells, illusioner.
Please, call me Alan. Illusioner Alan.
Okay, Alan, you're pretty good at casting spells.
Thank you for saying that, but unfortunately, there are mages far more powerful than me in the world, and some of them are using their gifts for evil.
You mean like Necromancer Bryce? Is it true that his spell will end the world?
Not if we good mages have anything to say about it.
Soon after, another mage arrived at the campfire. This one was a wind caller with the power to, well, call wind.
I'm Wind Caller Windy. I'm here to see the Ice Spider.
That's me. I'm Ice Spider Zozo.
Oh, the winds are truly blowing in our favor. You, my amicable arachnid, might be the key to saving the entire world from destruction. Necromancer Bryce's ritual can be stopped by a more powerful spell as long as he doesn't sacrifice an ice spider.
So as long as I'm alive, there's a chance that you mages will be able to stop him.
We'll need your help too. You can battle his henchmen and travel to places which would be too dangerous for us.
You can count on me. I might still be a baby spider, but I won't let the entire world down. From day 4 to day 5, I began to make use of the trees around me to gather wood for a wooden pickaxe. Because my starting area was a forest, it didn't take long to have enough to craft the tool. But wood wouldn't be good for long if I could do better. I mined into the ground with my wooden pickaxe for some stone and quickly upgraded to a stone pickaxe. With the new and improved stone tool, I was able to gather even more stone to use for building and crafting. First, I made a stone sword to defend myself with. Next, I started building a strong shelter where I could stay safe from Necromancer Bryce and his undead minions. Illusioner Alan had chosen to come with me. His illusion spells would help keep me safe while I built the base. Thanks for all your help so far, Alan.
Remember, Zozo, do not rely on magic. It cannot keep every mob away.
I soon understood what he meant when a skeleton appeared and interrupted my building. Good thing I crafted that stone sword. I drew my weapon and brought down the skeleton with a cup of wax. My victory against the skeleton made me stronger and more experienced, and because of that, I grew out of my baby mode into a regular-sized ice spider with 30 hearts. I can shoot ice blasts now. That is more like it. From day 6 to day 8, I was out exploring in the nearby gravelly mountains when I saw a friendly gorilla being attacked by a slime ball.
Get away from me, you slime ball!
The slime ball didn't answer. It just bounced and got slime everywhere. You may be slimy, but this ice spider isn't so helpless anymore. I hit the slime ball with my stone sword over and over. It did a good amount of damage, but I was taking damage the longer I stayed in contact with the slime ball. I retreated back to a safe distance and shot the slime ball with an ice blast. It froze the mob solid, so I was able to get in a few more hits with my stone sword while it was immobilized. I repeated this 2 or 3 times with more ice blasts until the slime ball was defeated. Once the battle was over, the gorilla cheered and ran up to greet me.
Brr, I was cold just watching that, but I'm glad you're on my side.
Of course. I, Ice Spider Zozo, am all about saving others.
You're definitely the nicest ice mob I've met. Say, do you think you could talk to the other one I know and tell him to stop trying to freeze me?
Sure thing. I'll let him know that's not nice.
He's just over here in another part of the mountains.
From day 9 to day 10, the gorilla showed me to the lair of the Icy Creeper, a powerful ice mob that seemed to like to cause trouble. Gorilla seemed worried for me. That's how I knew Icy Creeper would be trouble.
Are you sure you could talk him out of being mean, Zozo?
I can certainly try. I left Gorilla behind and approached the Icy Creeper. His attention was on me immediately, but he didn't speak. It looked like I would need to talk first. Hey, I'm Ice Spider Zozo. I heard you've been trying to freeze the gorilla, and they'd like you to stop.
Well, that's very nice, but I'm not gonna. I'll freeze anyone I want.
That's so rude. What did the gorilla ever do to you?
Nothing, but this is a cold world, and I'm one cold, tough customer. If that gorilla doesn't like it, he can go to another mountain.
Don't make me fight you, icy creeper.
I'd like to see you try.
I fired my ice blast at the icy creeper, but it seemed like he was even colder than me because it barely did any damage. His own ice blast took off a bunch of my hearts. In a battle between ice creatures, I was definitely the loser for now. I ran back to the gorilla, sad that I couldn't defeat the icy creeper. I promised Gorilla that I'd let him stay in my base for now and come back to the Gravelly Mountains to defeat Icy Creeper at a later time. From day 11 to day 12, I returned to my base and began renovating the living space so that the gorilla had a place to live. I used a lot of stone bricks so it wouldn't be too different from the mountain he had left behind. Once I had built the room, I went to see the gorilla and showed him where he could stay.
Thanks for letting me stay here, Zozo. I thought you could use some more storage space, so I did a bit of building on my own.
It turned out that the gorilla really had built a room that was perfect for storing extra items. He also built a furnace that would heat up the room where he and the mages would be staying. Oh yeah, I guess you guys need to stay warm. Either way, that's very impressive work.
I call it the home away from home. Oh, I hope I get to see the mountains again before the world ends.
It's not going to end. I'll stop it.
I hope so. That necromancer Bryce has been plotting world destruction for a long time, actually. He's tried all sorts of spells to do it, and they've never worked. This one might, though, and the idea of that is really scary.
It did sound scary, and I wasted no time getting better materials to help defend myself in case Bryce showed up. Down in the mining area of the base, I went digging for some iron to upgrade my tools. I found some iron ore, which I smelted into iron ingots, then crafted into an iron pickaxe and an iron sword. Back on the surface, I tamed some sheep from the nearby glowing ancient forest and built a farm for them. If that furnace fails, there's always wool sweaters. From day 13 to day 15, I sought out Illusioner Alan for some more advice on how to complete Necromancer Bryce's challenge. I want to save the world as soon as I can, Alan. Is the spell ready yet?
If only magic were that simple, Zozo. The truth is that Bryce's destruction spell is linked to you now. The only way to weaken it is for you to become stronger.
How do I do that?
When you defeated Bryce's skeleton henchman before, some of the spell's magic transferred into you. If you could defeat a more powerful one, it could happen again.
I went back to the Gravelly Mountains in the hopes of finding another undead mob to fight. Come and get me! I don't fear you, skeletons! As if answering my call to battle, a skeleton vanguard came charging across the mountain terrain towards me.
Spider of Ice! Spider of Ice! The time has come for sacrifice!
I hit the advancing skeleton vanguard with an ice blast, which slowed the undead down. I was able to hit him with another before he got into melee range. Time to get a taste of my new weapon. At that point, I brought out my iron sword and slashed the skeleton vanguard with some powerful hits. The skeleton vanguard crumbled and dropped a health potion to boot. This potion must contain some more of Bryce's magic. I drank the potion and felt my power increase dramatically. My number of hearts doubled and became 60, and I gained the magical ability to turn invisible like see-through ice. From day 16 to day 19, I continued my exploration into a brand new part of the world that I'd never seen before, the Great Lake Isles. As I crawled around this breathtaking new biome, I came across an abandoned book that contained information about the destruction spell that Necromancer Bryce had cast. The spell of destruction cast by a necromancer must be confirmed with the sacrifice of an ice spider. For this reason, an ice spider that survives the casting of the spell can prevent the destruction of the world by being at the center of a spell of life, which is made to protect the world. I wasn't sure exactly what that meant, but it sounded like there was a way to turn the tide of destruction. I excitedly began to leave the Great Lake Isles when some more skeleton vanguards ambushed me to try and get me to be sacrificed.
Spider of Ice! Spider of Ice! The time has come for...
Yeah, sacrifice. You creeps must have followed me from the mountains. I used my iron sword and I pelted the mobs with ice blasts until they were all destroyed. From day 20 to day 22, I realized that my powers were far stronger now that I had grown into a bigger ice spider. I tested my mettle against some specters in the glowing ancient forest, chopping them down with my iron sword. They weren't that difficult to defeat, but the fact that they were here meant that bad omens were on the horizon. Dead becoming more common could be a sign of world destruction being on its way. I did some more mining for iron in the base cavern and grabbed enough ore to make the ingots for an iron chestplate.
Now that I'm this much stronger, I bet I could stand up to the icy creeper. I returned to the icy creeper's lair in the gravelly mountains to confront the mob with my new abilities and gear.
Have you learned how cold the world is yet, Zozo?
No, I have learned that the world has good people in it that don't deserve to be frozen or destroyed. I fired my icy blast at the icy creeper, and this time, I was the one dealing damage. I had become a colder, more powerful being. Never freeze the gorilla or anyone else ever again.
All right, Zozo, I give. I'll be nice.
The icy creeper ran away, never to be mean again and never to be seen again. Upon driving away from that other ice mob, I saw a flashback to Bryce as a younger necromancer, just learning his first spells.
The world is a cold and cruel place. I know. I'll destroy it, so nobody has to live in a cold, cruel world.
Guess he was similar to the icy creeper in a couple of ways. If only he knew that the world wasn't as cold and cruel as he thought it was. From day 23 to day 26, I returned to the base, feeling victorious. I made a beeline for the gorilla to give him the good news. I taught that icy creeper a lesson he won't forget anytime soon. I promise you that you won't be having any trouble with him now.
Wow, you are one heroic ice spider, Zozo. I'm really checking my prejudices right now. Also, I made you a gift. In case you didn't notice it on the way in, I made a perimeter wall to defend the base.
Somehow, I totally had missed the perimeter wall. It was awesome and would do a great job at repelling the roving hordes of the undead. The base is well defended. Maybe now it's time to make sure my body is better defended. I went back to the mining cavern and collected up some more iron ore that I then took back to my base and smelted into iron ingots. I used these to make the rest of my armor set. You may not be able to see the armor on me, but believe me, it's there. From day 27 to day 31, I returned to the Great Lake Isles, wanting to make sure that I'd wiped out the Skeleton Vanguard Scourge completely. The more territory I can take back from the Necromancer Bryce, the less power and resources he has to complete his dark ritual. And it seems like my earlier work had paid off, because I couldn't see a Skeleton Vanguard anywhere. Instead, what I found was a large and smart-looking golem.
Hello there, good sir. Say, I've heard quite a bit about a certain ice spider lately. Your name wouldn't happen to be Zozo, would it?
That depends. What would you do if I was Zozo?
I'd congratulate you. I'm the librarian Golem. I travel across the overworld, giving books to those who need them. And the skeleton vanguards working for that blasted necromancer had gotten in the way of my very important mission for far too long. If you are Zozo, then you are responsible for many needy people getting the books they so crave.
Well, in that case, I am Zozo. Why don't you come back to my base with me? You seem like you'd be a valuable ally.
Of course, as long as there's a place where I can read.
I returned to my base with the librarian golem and constructed a new room for him to sleep in. After completing it, I realized how dull and drab the base looked. It needed a personal touch. I harvested some wool from my sheep farm and turned them into a bunch of cool banners that I hung up around the different buildings of my base. Looking snazzy! But my joy was short-lived, as Illusioner Alan ran in with frantic news.
Zozo, you need to come with me immediately. Windcaller Wendy is under attack.
From day 32 to day 35, Illusioner Alan and I ran as fast as we could to reach the campfire in the glowing ancient forest where the Windcaller liked to hang out. But by the time we arrived, it was already too late. A vicious gang of skeleton vanguards had already outnumbered and destroyed him. No!
We serve our master well. Everyone who attempts to defend you will be destroyed, Zozo. Nobody will stand in the way of your sacrifice. We will destroy this entire world.
Not if I have anything to say about it! Powered by pure rage, I went in there with all my weapons and powers and wiped out every single one of the skeleton vanguards. In the end, all that was left was myself and Illusioner Alan.
This is bad, Zozo. The Windcaller was a powerful mage and an asset to our operation. Now that she is gone, the danger grows significantly.
But we can't give up, Alan. If we give up, then nobody will stop Necromancer Bryce. We need to fight back against him with everything we have. From day 36 to day 39, I went out to the gravelly mountains to wander around and collect my thoughts. I was afraid about everything that had happened, but I couldn't show it in front of everyone who was working for me. Necromancer Bryce and his men are way more dangerous than I thought. My thoughts were interrupted when I ran into an incredibly strange creature, a melon golem, which I didn't even know was a thing.
What? You never see a melon golem before? You don't like melons or something?
Oh, no, I love melons. I've just never seen a melon golem before. I'm sorry if I upset you.
If you have a favor you need doing, I'd be happy to see to it and give you a hand.
Well, now that you mention it, there was an obsidian golem who was giving me some real trouble. Would you mind taking care of him before he hurts me or anyone else?
Of course, I'll get right to it. I turned on my invisibility powers and used it to search through the gravelly mountains until I discovered the obsidian golem. I used the element of surprise and approached him from behind, attacking him with everything I had. In the end, I managed to defeat him after a tough battle. Then I returned to the melon golem and told him that his bully was gone.
Hey, that's great news! I used to be able to trust the other golems, but a lot of them defected to the necromancer Bryce, cause most of them are hardy enough to survive the cold.
So some golems are working with the necromancer now? That's not good news.
You point out the obvious a lot, you know.
From day 40 to day 43, I returned back to my base, pleasantly surprised by some improvements that Illusioner Alan had made to the base.
Zozo, I've made very good friends with the librarian golem. He's a wonderful chap, and we've been doing lots of discussions around the arcane arts. So I installed a sizable collection of bookshelves and couches so he can really enjoy himself here.
It's incredibly wholesome that you two have become such good friends.
And he's not the only friend I'd like to stay here. I improved the base by adding a barracks, so I could invite more of my Illusioner friends. The more mages we have at the base, the easier it will be to defend you from the necromancer.
That sounds like a good idea to me, Alan. Not long after, a small group of other illusioners arrived, and I greeted them and escorted them to their rooms. Not long after, the librarian golem approached me with a new quest.
Zozo! As you may have heard on the grapevine, or perhaps the melon vine, some golems defected from the overworld and joined up with that dastardly necromancer. Two in particular are the Endstone Golem and the Netherite Golem out in the Great Lake Isles. Perhaps, if you're able to defeat him, it will weaken the necromancer's power in another territory.
That's an awesome idea, librarian golem. I'll set off immediately. From day 44 to day 49, I set off into the Great Lake Isles to find one of the evil golems that had been working for Necromancer Bryce. I want to reduce the power of the Necromancer's spell in whatever way that I can. I thought I saw the glow of magic from one of the islands and made a stealthy approach. To my surprise, it wasn't an Endstone Golem at all, but Necromancer Bryce himself. He was muttering something, so I got closer to hear what it was.
This pathetic world does not deserve mercy. It only deserves cold destruction, and my spell will be that destruction. Soon, the hastening will be upon us.
Couldn't let him stand there and say such terrible things. Take that back, you dastardly necromancer!
Oh, it's you. You're the ice spider that dares to defy me. It seems my undead have thus far been unable to sacrifice you.
Why do you need to sacrifice me so badly anyway? What's in it for you if the entire world is destroyed?
Destroying the entire world is a thankless job, but somebody has to do it. Anyway, I've got a brand new caliber of minion now. Prepare to meet my netherite golem.
The Necromancer Bryce vanished into a cloud of magical smoke, and in his place, a netherite golem rose to its full towering height.
Greetings. I am the Netherite Golem, and I will be sacrificing today.
The other golems told me that baddies like you were bad news. Put up your big netherite dukes, and let's have a good clean fight, said the spider to the golem. I ice blasted my opponent and scurried around, avoiding his attacks. I used my invisibility to sneak in close and attack with my iron sword. The netherite golem was very strong, and he managed to hit me a couple times, dealing many hearts of damage. And I had hearts to spare now, and this fight was far from over. From day 50 to day 53, we briefly stopped to talk.
You're going to be sacrificed, Ice Spider. I'm going to crack you like ice, and then squash you like a spider.
Oh yeah? Well, you're a netherite golem, and never mind, I can't think of anything. I fired off a couple of ice blasts, then I used my iron sword to hit the netherite golem. With one more ice blast, I froze the netherite golem and brought the fight to a close with a sword strike. The netherite golem dispersed, leaving behind some mystical diamonds, which were stronger than any material I had gathered thus far. I better hang on to these so I can make a powerful tool out of these diamonds later. With the netherite golem defeated, I felt some of Necromancer Bryce's magic leaving the Great Lake Isles. From day 54 to day 57, I found the other evil golem that had chosen to serve Necromancer Bryce, the Endstone Golem, the exact golem that the library golem had sent me out to fight. This mean Endstone fighting machine was just as tough as the netherite golem I had fought before, so I knew I had to use similar strategies to take it down. Ice Spider Zozo, Golem Slayer! My invisibility proved to be a great way of avoiding attacks, and a mixture of Ice Blast and Iron Sword attacks sealed the deal! Both of the Golem defectors have been defeated now. I can feel the Great Lake Isles are peaceful now. I returned to my base in the glowing ancient forest so that I could tell the tale of my victory to the library golem.
Well done, Ice Spider Zozo. Without his golems, Necromancer Bryce has lost a major facet of his evil forces. The destruction of the entire world is that much closer to being avoided.
I'm just doing my part to stop the spell.
In anticipation of your return, I did some research into the original spellbooks that contain the destruction spell. It says that the ice spider needed for the spell must come from the Ice Spikes biome. Have you ever been there before, Zozo?
Not that I can recall, but if it's my homeland, maybe I can learn something more about the spell by going there someday. From day 58 to day 62, I used the mystical diamonds that had been dropped by the netherite golem to make myself a diamond sword. Once crafted, the librarian gave me a Frostwalker enchantment book to enchant my new diamond sword with frost. What a neat enchantment, and very fitting for an ice spider. I guess magic comes naturally to me. Because of my new sword, I was inspired to seek out more diamonds down in the mine. Using my iron pickaxe, I dredged up a few more diamonds and made myself a diamond pickaxe. I decided that was enough mining for now, and I came back to see that the living area looked much nicer, and there was even a brand new fireplace. Illusioner Alan was standing by the fireplace, feeling its warmth. It looks amazing here. Is this an illusion?
I'm always telling you, Zozo, magic can't do everything. These changes to the base are 100% real.
Wow, thanks, Alan.
Building this base was such a great idea. I really like living here, so I'm glad I could make it better for everyone.
From day 63 to day 66, I was doing some more diamond mining when the gorilla who lives in my base came to visit me.
Hey, Zozo! The librarian golem told me that you're originally from the Ice Spikes. I actually know how to get there.
You do? Well, that's great. I have been meaning to take a trip out there at some point.
I'll give you the directions. Maybe you'll find out if you've got any family out there.
Following the gorilla's directions, I made my way to the ice spikes. I didn't see any ice spiders, but maybe I would meet a friendly face if I looked around. But the first face I saw didn't appear to be that friendly. It was a mountaineer with a wicked gleam in his eyes. I'm warning you, buddy. You don't want to mess with this ice spider. I have the home field advantage.
I don't want to fight you. This gleam in my eye is the gleam of adventure. I'm Mountaineer Monty, and I'm looking to climb the tallest peak in the Ice Spikes.
The tallest peak? I bet I could see everything from up there. Count me in.
Perfect! With an ice spider helping me up, I'll be able to get to the top of the tallest peak in no time.
From day 67 to day 70, I joined Mountaineer Monty, and we both climbed around on the ice spikes together, searching for the tallest peak. How will we know if the ice spike that we're climbing is the tallest or not, Monty?
We won't know until we get to the top. Keep on crawling on these walls, Ice Spider.
We went higher and higher until we found a ledge on the side of an even taller peak. Could this be the one? That's when a leaf leaf jumped down from the upper ledges and started to attack. I fired an ice blast at the mob, but it dodged away. This leaf leaf was faster than I expected, so I'd have to outsmart it. I turned invisible and waited for the leaf leaf to land on the ground. I dashed in and hit it with my diamond sword, dealing a bunch of damage. The moment it jumped, I fired an ice blast directly at it, defeating it for good. Mountaineer Monty was impressed with my win.
That was great! And also leaf leaves only live on the tallest peak, so we must be there.
Let's keep on climbing so we can find out. Within a few minutes, we had risen to the top of the entire Ice Spikes biome. This was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen in all my days as an ice spider.
Thank you for being here with me.
Down below, I saw what looked like the lair of a necromancer, a wicked and terrible base. Necromancer Bryce must be here in the Ice Spikes. Did he find me here? From day 71 to day 74, I descended the peak of the tallest mountain and began to travel through the ice spikes in the direction of the evil lair. I never expected my history with Bryce would go back so far. I need to find out why his lair is here, what happened to the other ice spiders, and of course, how I can save the world from destruction. And if you want to help me save the world, remember to search Zozo to find more of my adventures. Make sure to tell me what you want me to play as next. Down at the base of the mountain, I wandered through a snowy blizzard, only to be confronted by Necromancer Bryce.
You've returned home, Ice Spider Zozo, but it's not your home anymore. It's my home, and soon there will be nobody home in the entire world.
Your destruction spell will never work, Bryce. Not as long as I survive without being sacrificed. I drew my sword and turned invisible, waiting for an opportunity to strike. Necromancer Bryce only laughed. He was not threatened by me at all.
Foolish Zozo! You don't understand what it means that I am here in the ice spikes. It means that I've already sacrificed another ice spider. My spell is secure.
I froze in place, not from the cold, but from the shock of what Bryce had said. No, you already sacrificed an ice spider, you evil monster! Bryce turned toward the spell and blasted me with a powerful spell that took off almost all of my heart. He was about to fire off another, so I ran away as fast as I could. From day 75 to day 78, I scurried back to the base and immediately shut myself away in the coldest room of the base. I had failed. The whole point of going to the ice spikes was to learn more about my origin. But now, I had learned something that made me feel completely hopeless. The entire world really was going to be destroyed, and there was nothing I could do to stop it.
Never say never, Zozo.
It was the librarian golem. They had come to visit me in my time of regret. But all of the other ice spiders are gone. Necromancer Bryce sacrificed them.
I don't think that's exactly what has happened, Zozo. Bryce was trying to catch you off guard so he could sacrifice you. He still needs you for his place, and when he comes for you, we'll be ready.
The librarian golem showed me a watchtower that had been installed on the base. It would be an ideal countermeasure to any intruding undead sent by Bryce. Thanks, library golem. And you're right, the world isn't doomed yet. Later on, I consulted Illusioner Alan to see what magical spells he had been working on during my travels.
Zozo, I have used all of my magic to create this Kaitha. It is a weapon that will make you unstoppable in battle.
Thank you. That's exactly what I need. The moment I took the Kyther, I felt a great surge of power within me. I grew into the ultimate ice spider, the true king of the ice spikes. I had 100 hearts and the ability to warp short distances, combining that ability with my invisibility to really catch enemies off guard. From day 79 to day 84, I made my way back to the ice spikes, trusting that the transformation brought on by Illusioner Alan's spell would give me the ultimate power, and that the library golem wasn't wrong about there being more to learn about my past. In my mighty ice spider form, nothing in the ice spikes could rival my strength. Some specters tried to swoop down and challenge me, but I effortlessly destroyed them with my ice blast. I traveled some more through the cold biome of the ice spikes, eventually finding an Icologer native to this region. Hello there, Icologer.
Please, call me Icologer Ike. It's quite nice to meet a spider of ice. There used to be a lot more of you protecting the ice spikes.
So I've heard. That was before the necromancer sacrificed them.
Oh, there was no sacrifice. Your ancestors fought against him bravely, down to the last spider. I kept one of their helmets too. You should have it.
Ike gave me a diamond helmet, which I proudly equipped. I guess there really was more to the story than I thought. From day 85 to day 89, my base was attacked by the skeleton vanguard. I arrived just in time to fend them off with weapons and ice blasts.
Spider of ice, spider of ice, the time has come for sacrifice.
Ha! That confirms it! You still need a sacrifice, and I'm the last spider standing. You'll never take me out. With the confidence I had developed in my ultimate ice spider form, I demolished the skeleton vanguard one by one, until the last of them went running back to the ice spikes.
Spider of ice, your sacrifice will now be done by Necromancer Bryce.
I'd like to see him try. I chased the skeleton vanguard to the edge of my base, where he kept running onward. It was there that I met a fungus thrower, who was standing next to a dugout pool of water.
Oh, please, Ice Spider Zozo! My swimming pool is way too warm! Can you provide an ice blast to cool it off?
Why, certainly, my fungus-throwing friend. I shot the pool with an ice blast, freezing it over. Oops, sorry, now it's more of an ice rink.
No, I like this better. I'll call my friends and we'll play some hockey.
From day 90 to day 94, I followed the skeleton vanguard through the ice spikes, all the way to the necropolis where Necromancer Bryce would be waiting for me.
Bryce, we need your advice.
As the skeleton vanguard approached the necropolis, it was obliterated by an attack from an armored pillager.
Never send a skeleton to do my job.
And what is your job?
Killing spiders by the dozen. Me and the rest of my pillager crew fought the ice spiders in this area back when they dared to defy Necromancer Bryce.
You mean that it was you who wiped out all the rest of the ice spiders, and you're working for Bryce? I'm going to freeze on you! I fired several ice blasts, but the armored pillager tanked them all and hit me with the same powerful attack it used to destroy the skeleton vanguard. It dealt a decent amount of damage, so I warped away to avoid taking more.
I faced many ice spiders just as big as you.
But you've never faced me!
Gathering my courage, I warped back and swung my diamond sword into the armored pillager, returning the damage I took and then some. From day 95 to day 97, the armored pillager still wouldn't let up, and I was starting to see that his claims of taking down all the other ice spiders wasn't all talk. My ice blasts weren't very effective, so I mostly relied on my sword strikes to deal damage. My warp and invisibility powers helped me dodge most of the armored pillager's attacks so that I could hold onto my hearts.
Why can't you let me crush you like those other worthless ice spiders?
It's time you learned that those lives you trampled were never worthless. I warped all around the armored pillager and barraged him with sword attacks until he collapsed at long last.
Darn it, you have beaten me. Truth is, you spiders fought very well. I was the only survivor among the pillagers.
If you lost everyone too, why are you being such a mean guy about it? We could have talked this out.
Necromancer Bryce was going to destroy the world anyway. We thought we had to listen to him, or he'd destroy us first. That Bryce is ruthless beyond anything you've seen. After he hired us pillagers to wipe out the spiders, he had them save one remaining ice spider egg so that he could use the ice spider that hatched for his destruction spell. That ice spider must have been you.
The armored pillager died, leaving behind a key to the lair. At that moment, I realized I had avenged my people. Well, almost. Bryce stole me away, planned to use me for his spell, and destroy the world I've only now come to know. I will stop him! On day 98, I returned to the base to heal my injuries from the battle with the armored pillager. So much had happened since I started my journey, and we were only a couple days from the day that the destruction spell would end the world. But the words that carried me all this way still rang in my ears. As long as I survive, it isn't over. I spoke to the librarian Golem, who was also hopeful about our chances of stopping the destruction spell.
No sacrifice was made, and if you defeat Bryce, he'll never be able to cast another destruction spell. This could be your chance to save the entire world.
I will do it, for the world and for all the ice spiders that fought bravely against him. I wanted to make sure the powers of my magically induced final form were stable, so I went to Illusioner Alan to confirm. Your magical Kyther seems to be working, Alan.
Oh, Zozo, what have I always said? Magic can't do everything. You took that form on your own. My great illusion was convincing you that my weapon was the reason.
Wow, I didn't expect that. You truly are a skilled illusioner, Alan. But I didn't leave the base without any new gear. The gorilla made sure I had full diamond armor for the battle with Necromancer Bryce.
You're a hero, Ice Spider Zozo. I really wish I could have met more ice spiders.
As long as there's a world, there's a way. I'll make sure the world is safe after I stop Bryce.
Go get that evil creep. Remember the path I showed you through the Gravelly Mountains.
On day 99, I was traveling through the Gravelly Mountains toward the ice spikes on my way to the showdown with Necromancer Bryce. I was intercepted by a whole bunch of skeleton vanguards who seemed really eager to sacrifice me as always. Bryce really rolled out the welcome mat early, huh?
Spider of ice, spider of ice, must we say it thrice? It has to be time for your sacrifice.
Even though my strength, my hearts, my gear, and my magic all surpassed theirs, the skeleton vanguards descended on me in great numbers. They're slowing me down. I won't be able to reach Bryce by the day of destruction. I had to retreat as quickly as I could. That's when I ran into the Mountaineer, and he wanted to fight those nasty skeletons for me so I could take down the big boss who started it all.
Go on now, Ice Spider. We climbed the tallest peak together. Now face your greatest challenge with pride.
On day 100, I used the key to the lair and entered the inner sanctum of Necromancer Bryce.
The day of destruction is at hand, and here you are, allowing yourself to be sacrificed.
There will be no sacrifice and no destruction. We traded a series of blasts, his necromancy blast and my ice blast. We each took a bit of damage, then I turned invisible. You crushed my people, but I'm taking back the ice spikes and the entire world from your evil.
You would fight to protect a world that took away your family?
The world didn't do that, Necromancer Bryce. That was you. I reappeared and attacked his blind spot with my diamond sword. He began charging up his most powerful spell yet. It was the same spell he almost defeated me with the last time we fought. Necromancer Bryce let the spell of doom fly at me. I waited until the very last second, then I used my warp ability to move out of the way and appear right behind him. You missed me, and now it's over for you. I swung my diamond sword repeatedly with all my might, destroying the necromancer before he could destroy anything else. This world would live on, and so would I.